The Heroes of Greyhawk is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Superior Adventures Guild. My name is Dave, your humble dungeon master, host, and pal. And tonight we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A, cocktail hour hey, ask some questions if you have any. We're going to ask each other some questions. If you have any questions for us, please drop them into the chat. Apparently tonight's safety word is ball buster. Well, no, because look, that's too close to home because, let's just say something happened. So let's come up with something else.
How about whippoorwill?
Whippoorwill is fine. Do we have to? I don't know how to spell that, but we'll use it anyways.
Kind of like tater tot from the other night.
That's true. Tater tot's really good. Unless you're talking about hot dishes that you may have had over Christmas break. Anyways, we'll use tater tot. Or whippoorwill will do as well. Who knows? Whippoorwill. Hey everybody. This is us. This is us. We're here. We're back. This is the Heroes of Greyhawk crew -1 because Chad he's doing some fundraising stuff tonight, doing good things for people, and we love him for it. But we decided that instead of launching into what could potentially be a total party kill in the next encounter, we decided that we would take a quick pause, reevaluate things, and have a conversation about this game that we've been playing for a long time. So look, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll watch the chat, right? That means that we have to keep an eye on the chat. Do we have any moderators in here? Downrighter, thank you so much for the gift sub. Damn, you're generous.
Hey.
Really appreciate that. Wow, we're off to a great start. Thank you so much. That is super generous, and we appreciate you. If you have questions for the group, please drop them in the chat. We do have a giveaway tonight. Our amazing sponsor at CZ RPG has provided us with something that's not even released yet. It's coming out this week. Let me jump over here to the display screen, and I will show you what I'm talking about. It is called Sunakawa. And it is a setting. It is a series of adventures. It is lore, artwork, maps galore. I don't even have the description because the producers didn't hand me the piece of paper that I usually have. Just kidding. But we don't know what it is yet, but it looks awesome. And you're going to win it. If you enter, you could potentially win it. Although we know Cardman is already in the drawing because I can see Cardman in there. But you guys, it is active. Greyhawk Mike, great to see you. We'll talk more about some Shadow Dark stuff here coming up this weekend. We've got a game that's hatching. Anyways, long story short, we have some Q&A, and I'm gonna toss it over first to Ashley to kind of tell us what the hell's going on because I don't really know. So Ashley, if you would please tell us what's going on.
All right, so we compiled some questions that people might have or we have for each other. And so each of us are going to roll a d20, and whoever gets the highest goes first, but then keep that score because the next person will get to pick a question off our question sheet. However, if you have a question in the chat, please let us know and we will answer your questions as well. So ask away if you have something that you want to ask about our campaign, our characters, or us personally as streamers. Within reason,
Don't ask me for my address.
Or, we'll have to get
Where do you live?
I'd probably tell you. Let's be honest. We're going to have a party here anyways at GuildCon next year. So you're going to find out. Yeah. If you come to GuildCon, you're going to find out where I live, what goes on here. All right. So Ashley, we're going to roll dice, and then then that's going to be the initiative order, right?
Correct.
Now, when we ask a question, Ashley, can we do a follow-up question, or is it just one and done kind of deal?
Oh, please. Yeah. Please ask follow-up questions.
Okay.
if we run out of questions, we'll end the stream early, but I have a feeling we'll be chatting away for a long time.
Here we have a question from Cardman. Have any players ever played 1E AD&D Oriental Adventures? That's a great question. Anyone?
I have
No,
not.
I haven't.
Okay,
No.
I have a story about this. So when I was a kid, and so I started playing D&D in the 80s, and the red box, right? But Oriental Adventures was one of the books that I bought right away because I was super into ninjas, which to be honest, I still am. And even though there's a lot of cultural insensitivities in that book, I will say that it still has this sort of nostalgic allure to me because it's just a cool idea for a setting that you could drop in. And let's be honest, like there was so much material historically in the real world to pull from. So I'm a big fan of like that idea. I don't think necessarily that it was executed, in the best possible way, but I would like to see maybe a different adaptation of that idea and maybe there probably are plenty of games like that out there that would be fun to play. So, yeah, we're already getting some more questions here. Question from Greyhawk Mike, favorite class that you haven't played yet? Ashley, why don't you start this one?
Oh man. I've played in a lot of one-shots now, so I have played most character types in classes. But oh gosh, what haven't I played? Let's just try to find one I haven't played.
I could jump in. I haven't played an artificer, and I'm very curious about them. They make me a little nervous though, because I feel like there's a lot of things that they can do, and I'd have to it feels like they're a little intimidating. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome. They're awesome. But you kind of have to, the campaign I was in, where I was an artificer, I had to work with the DM a little about what they would allow, because, there's artificers who can use guns and gun-like projectile weapons, and then there's, classic D&D where guns didn't really exist.
Yeah, but then you could just do, force damage or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
there's
kind
rules
of the flavor
for
of the
firearms.
campaign.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you've played them and you like them. Yeah.
It's really cool.
How about you, Shell? What's a class that you haven't played that you'd like to, or maybe you haven't delved deep enough to fully take advantage of that you'd like to?
I'd say I've played a lot of characters, but I have not played a bard ever.
Oh.
So, I mean, that would be a thing I would like to do.
Yeah.
And I've also never played an elf that I can think of.
Really?
Off the top of my head. Oh, yeah. So
I
an
remember.
elf bard
An elven bard. Okay.
would
That's
be
cool.
something I might try.
Dude, bards are great because they are
I like
like
bards.
skill monkeys, like so many skills. Then you have to decide what kind of bard, because they can go in so many different directions.
And
You can
they
be
have
like a
expertise
fighter
for
type. You can
example.
be, yeah, right. A fighter type. You could be a more of a learned sage kind of character, or the classic, thirst trap, fucking
That
singing,
doesn't sound
sexy.
like me at all.
I was
Definitely
All
not
right.
play that one.
all right. I feel like
Dave
you were
wants to play
designed
that
for that.
For sure. I haven't played a fighter. I have not played a fighter. I
You
don't
haven't played
like
a
to
fighter? Oh, I
go.
love
Never
fighters.
played one. I
Mm.
don't like to go hand to hand.
Oh,
I'm
I
more
love melee.
like
Love it.
from behind, glass cannon. Is or at least projectiles is more my speed.
That's a good one. What about you, Andy?
Let's see. Haven't played much sorcerer, haven't played much monk. And haven't played much artificer.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say monk probably.
I'm getting
think
to
you would
play
dig
a
it.
monk on Thursday.
Yeah, you are. Shadow Monk.
Oh yeah.
Shadow Monk. Hey, what's up, Wiley? Good to see you. We're doing a little Q&A session. We're getting some great questions. We've got another question from Downwriter. What's everyone's opinion of multi-classing? Andy, let's start with you because you're currently multi-classing in this game.
Yes. I am a fan. I don't have serious problems with it. I think that it can be taken too far sometimes. Like if you really start to like pursue damage types and like damage,
Like min-maxing
high damage
type
builds.
stuff?
Yeah, like min-maxing.
Hmm.
But if you're doing it for flavor, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. What about you, Ash?
I think you can kind of hurt your character if you
Yeah.
cross class too much. And if you're gonna do it, I would recommend doing it at an early level, because then it's like a big, like, leg up. But once you get to, you're like, oh, I'm level 9, I'm gonna take a level in Bard or something. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, you kind of
as good.
hedge your bets a little bit in certain games where you're like, well, we're gonna make it. I think we'll get to about this level, because very few games get to 20th level. So you're rarely are you
Yeah.
actualizing those 20th level, like 15
Yeah.
through 20 features of a class.
Yep.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
we haven't in our games anyway.
Yeah.
We could. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
fun,
I mean,
right?
Yeah. Next topic.
It's a lot to track.
Next
it's up
topic.
to the DM, I guess. At the end
Well,
of
it's
the
up to
day.
the story. Like when the story is, you get to a good point where the story's kind of been told, you've told the story you set out to tell. It doesn't really matter what level you are. I mean, if you go, 100 to 200 sessions of a campaign and you're only 7th level, I mean, that's okay. As long as it's the story that you're focused on, that you're really, really trying to tell a good story. Right, Shell? What's your opinion on that one?
Yeah, no, I feel like you could definitely accelerate the pace of the
What's up, Anna?
going up levels.
Really?
And you could still tell the story,
Really?
but you could also
I
be
don't-
like a 20th level.
That seems like an
Whatever.
anathema to an excellent story about, hard times at Ridgemont High, growing up, with, no,
Is that the story we're telling, though?
I don't know. We're telling stories about characters, not levels.
You could tell a
Put
great
that in your
story
pipe.
through your arc on your way
All right.
to 20th level.
Everybody,
All right.
roll your d20 and tell me
All
what you
right.
get.
Ashley's getting serious now. I got a 13.
I got a 9.
11.
Crap. I got an 18.
Oh, yeah.
Shelly, do you have access to the questions?
Yeah, magic items.
Do.
Okay,
Yes.
please go through and choose a question. It could be for yourself. It could be for someone else. What are you dying to know?
Look, if here's a new, I'm gonna throw a rule into the mix. If you ask a question that's already been asked accidentally, you have to take a shot.
Could
Is
we
this a
take
shots
anyway?
game?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is it is now.
I guess so. Scottish
Okay.
Jeff is in the house. Anna B. Myers in the house. Wiley Hobbit. Armin. Hey guys, welcome in. Glad to have you. Old school FRP. Like to play a Viking style poet storyteller bard. That's cool. Yeah, like a warrior poet. That's awesome.
Mhm.
All right, Shelly, what do you got for us?
Okay. I'm going to ask the question that I specifically wondered about earlier. Is Dez ever going to put that ring on that fell off during his ceremony? I'm very
Oh.
interested to know about this ring and what he plans to do with it. What does he think is going to happen if he does put it on?
Mm-mm.
If he doesn't put it on, what's he going to do with it?
Okay, wow. Yeah, it's
Everything.
it is a tricky situation because okay, well, to start, I don't know if everybody knows the origin of the ring, but essentially it was basically kind of a story device that I used to kind of introduce the telekinesis feat to my character at level 1. So essentially the story is that Dez overhears someone pitching his boss, his friend that would give him work, a robbery. The guy turns it down, but Dez decides to take it upon himself to steal the item, and finds out it's one single little ring, and he's a little disappointed.
Just a little ring.
Yeah.
Inconsequential. What's
He
up,
puts it
Raiders? Welcome
goes to
in.
bed, and when he wakes up, it's not there anymore. But he can start to move things with his mind, aka the telekinesis feat. So when it came off of his finger, when the age curse was removed, which was a special thing that Dave allowed me to do because I was really bummed out when he got aged by a ghost.
Oof. Thanks for the
So
follow,
thanks,
Bubba
Dave.
Klin.
I appreciate that.
But the joke.
I think
was
he's
great.
worried now because of all the experience he has with curses in objects, that the curse was driven into the ring. And that's why the ring fell off at that exact moment. So he's nervous that if he puts
Ooh.
it back on, he's going to gain 20 years.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. So right now he hasn't lost Mage Hand, but he can't do the telekinetic stuff anymore.
Was pretty handy.
Yes, it was.
Literally.
Yeah.
So then what is he going to do with this ring? Is he going to, if he has this fear about this ring and it containing possibly that curse still, is he going to try to give it to somebody?
That
Well,
would be interesting.
I think he's just trying to carry on without it right now until maybe he can find somebody that can give him some more information or can kind of diagnose whether there's a curse in the ring or not.
I don't think there's a curse in that ring. I think we're being tracked by it. I think somebody will find object on that to get to you.
People can do that?
Well,
That's
hey,
news
got-
to Dez. He hasn't learned
Right.
that spell yet.
Scottish Jeff says, give the ring to Toblob.
Oh no, we don't want Toblob to die.
Oh,
Should
There's
give it
a-
to somebody that you don't like.
We can answer that, Armin. That's not a sensitive question.
No, not at all. Yeah. So the question Armin is posing is, what happened to the dude who played Norb? That's our good friend Kirk. And Kirk bought a house, got married, and had a baby all in like
in a very condensed
period of time. And so he is on an extended hiatus, but I do have a sense that Kirk will come back at some point, if not for a longer sort of run, maybe for a guest appearance, because we've been chatting a little bit offline. So the door's always open for Kirk. Of course, he's a fun guy to play with, and he was in the first campaign that ran for like 2 years. Just a fun, definitely adulting. And he's probably the youngest of the group, so he's just like getting his shit together. And the fun part is that he'll soon realize that you never do, and he's going to end up like us anyways.
Right. Yeah.
But he's so much more together than most of us.
and naive. He's so naive.
Yeah.
Give him time.
Very
No,
soon
we
the
love
weight
Kirk.
of the world will fall upon his shoulders.
That's right. No, I'm sure. I
Right,
think it
he'll be
is now
old and
because
tired.
he
We
was
do not
also
wish that on
working
him.
a ton. Like he was working
Yeah,
80
he's working
hours a
60
week or
hours.
something. Yeah, it was crazy.
And he was renovating that new house.
Yeah,
Like he was
he was
painting it and
doing
stuff,
everything
so,
at
like-
once,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
It was
everything
nuts.
at once.
Yeah.
Lots of
So
overtime.
let me go
remember that.
back real quick, Andy, to something you said about this ring and the curse. What you didn't like the curse?
No, I did not care for the curse at all.
Well, I was looking through our notes, and Desmond gained that curse in the 8th game session and didn't get rid of it until like the 22nd or 3rd or something like that.
22nd? No, it was like the
No.
50th, wasn't it?
No,
Well,
no.
I
It
would
was
say probably
right after you guys.
43rd. Like he
I can-
Oh
had-
yeah,
look
that's
it up.
right. That's right. Sorry, I was thinking about the other
Long
curse. I was
time.
thinking about the dagger because you got rid of the dagger in the 21st, like right before you headed to Twilight Falls.
Sorry.
That was
Yeah.
a rough one.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
supposed to be like
was so
a
much worse
token
than
of
this one.
friendship
Yeah.
Yeah.
between
Des-
Xanthi and Des.
Xanthi gave me this cool knife that she found. They gave Des.
that was a cool curse. I thought they were both cool.
I
Yeah,
thought they were both cool.
Look,
I enjoyed
the
I
the
like it
aging
when he
curse-
stabbed me.
Look, the aging
Like
curse was your
stabbing.
own fault. I'm just gonna
That's my
say
favorite.
it was a combination of you and Xanthi were trying to like intervene with this ghost. You're like,
we were
and you rolled a saving throw that was terrible. It was probably a natural 1 or like
We were-
3.
no, it was like an 8.
It was
or something.
terrible.
It was really bad though.
Terrible, and that's why you got cursed with the
Yeah.
horrific visage or whatever it's called.
And I was really bummed because at that point Des was very new. And yeah, I just didn't want to play like an older character. And so I begged Dave.
And I said,
to let me
no.
remove it.
I said, there's no way. That's just the way the game works, pal. You're going to have to live with it.
Plus, I think we were like level 1. And like, in order to counter that, you need somebody to have greater restoration, which is like a level 5
that
spell.
farmhouse was a very, that was an important encounter for you guys. Big time. A lot of things went down. Your tent, you guys learned about tents being a bad idea. You know, a lot of things went down.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, next question.
But, you know, I think, Dave, you know, I appreciate you letting me be able to get rid of it. And I think it was probably worth like all the elderly jokes that I got along the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was good
Dude.
fun. Like, we had a lot of fun with the jokes.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's always a way to do something. You just might not, you know, and we'll talk about this in a minute because I don't know who the next questioner is, but you know, like there are some curses that you have to pay to, and there's things that are consequential to get rid of them. Like that dagger curse.
Well,
everybody sacrificed something for you to get rid of that dagger curse.
Yeah.
Some
totally.
pretty important.
And like, as far as that's what I didn't like about it, the curse, the aging curse, is that it was like seemingly permanent. Like there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
Because of a bad roll.
Terrible
Which
roll.
is all right. I mean, I guess you could play rules as written, but it's kind of
dude, that's what happens, man. You sit down at the gaming table with this crew, you got to take it seriously, pal.
Oh, I take it serious.
I know you do. We love you for it. All right, next question. What do we do next?
Well, technically the next one is Dave, but you just asked a question. Would you like to ask another one, Dave, or would you like to skip to the next person?
No, I want to ask. I got all kinds of questions.
Okay.
I've got a whole page of questions here. I wish I could show you all of the questions that I have. The thing I have to decide is who do I want to ask first?
You'll probably get another chance to ask another question at some point.
I've got like 14 questions. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with Ashley. Throughout her journey, Xanthia has encountered various different challenges, and I'm just wondering, is there an adversary or a challenge that has stood out to her during the campaign that seems the most memorable or the most impactful for her?
Oh gosh, adversary for her.
Yeah, either that could be like a monster or a bad guy, or it could be an event or a challenge that I threw in front of her.
Well, memorable villains, I guess. There was the ogre who knocked Xanthi out and nearly killed her and was planning to eat her. That was a big one. And then the Lareth the Beautiful having a spider like rip out of his body and then murder Norb. That was quite traumatic.
I think we were all in single digits at that point too.
It was real close.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. All right, I like it. There's a question from Scottish Jeff. Says, has the party ever done anything that caused Dave to think, oh boy, what am I going to do now? As in totally opposite to what I thought they would do. Almost every single session, I walk away going, oh boy, what am I going to do now? I would say,
welcome.
Yeah, I would say that's a fairly regular sort of feeling.
Can you think of like one?
Yes. Yeah, I have one in mind.
Is there one that sticks out? Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a moment in Nulb where I dangled some juicy sneak around and get into some hijinks in front of Nori and Desmond, and you guys decided not to do it. And then I was like, oh shit. Okay. Time to pivot. Yeah. And so luckily I there was a lot going on in Nulb, so it wasn't hard to pivot, but that was a surprise to me because I thought for sure we were going to get ourselves into like a sneaking into the warehouse and trying to figure out what was going on with McKinty and that ledger and all that stuff. Like that was the moment where I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize that.
I
And
actually
then the
really
other
thought we were
part,
gonna do that too.
yeah. And then
Yeah,
the
I
other
wanted-
one,
I
In
wanted
hindsight,
to
I think
do
we
it.
should have. In
Yeah.
hindsight, I think we should have.
I was
yeah,
surprised we didn't.
I was
Well,
too.
I was playing
we
it
didn't-
safe.
We didn't because the character Lachlan was so adamant to not do it that we all felt
Yes.
guilty.
Yeah, you
And
guys
so
got
we
guilted
decided
into not
to
doing
try
it.
to make him
Yes.
happy as a, so unfortunately.
The
But-
other one is also a Desmond related thing. It's when you cut the hand off of Gromlin's wife, and I was just like, wait, what just happened?
Well,
I
remember
mentioned-
that was the caveat because he was
I
supposed to
know.
murder her
I know.
outright.
I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah. Andy's like, I'm
Yeah.
just going to kill this lady.
thing-
I'm like, huh?
No,
Wait,
this is what happened.
Did I hear that correctly?
She runs out of the room. I run after the cookie lady,
Yeah.
this old woman that was just.
She's a cookie lady who
Baking
bakes
cookie.
cookies, folks, just to put this in context.
I get into the other room.
Well,
I have my
more
sword
than
out.
that.
What's up, Jay?
The plan for Dez is for him to scare her back into the kitchen, but she's standing there with brass knuckles, right? And
Yeah.
I don't
The
know
boys.
if I got better initiative than her or what happened, but I didn't like call my hit, and I accidentally, I critted, I think is what happened, is I ended up doing like a ton of damage. And
Believe the quote from you, and I
if,
wrote it down.
if we
Yeah.
would have
Is
let
I
it
Here we go,
pulled
here we
my
go.
sword on her, and she came at me. You
Yeah.
pulled your sword on her, and she came at you. So I think you did it first.
Yeah. All right. We don't have to dwell on
right.
that. But those,
Well, I
Jeff,
was
those
like-
are a couple of examples of when I was
she pulled
like,
weapons on me, man.
what is going
So
on
did
with this
you.
party? Oh, and the other one, I'll say this as well, because now they're starting to flood into my brain. It was on the island on Shimmer Lake. You guys had just emerged from the Reaper's lair, and I throw Brock back at you guys. And instead of like, hey, it's Brock, let's grab him and ask him a bunch of questions because he's probably got all kinds of intel. Xanthias turns to the lizard folk and goes, why don't you go ahead and eat this guy? And they're like, sure. And they just ate him. Yeah, innocent little Xanth. That was a turning point
And
for
we all
Xanthi,
said-
for
This
sure.
is good stuff.
Don't
right
you
there.
think we want to talk to him first? And
Too
Xanthi
late.
was like,
He was
no.
being torn apart by
No.
lizard folk. All right,
Oh,
next
Norris, like,
question.
who's this jerk?
What do we got? Who's next?
I don't know. Is there an
okay.
initiative order?
I'm next. So I get to ask a question.
Yeah, it does happen. 100%. It's fun. It's all in good fun. Thanks a lot for the raid, Blue Box. We appreciate you guys. Everybody who just joined in, thank you so much for hanging out. We love having you. Tonight is a little bit different because we have one player who is out, and we decided, well, let's do a little Q&A. So we have questions for each other, but if you have questions that you would like to ask us about the game or just gaming or streaming or Greyhawk or whatever it might be, please feel free to ask. We will field your questions first, but we have our own to ask as well. So anyhow, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, how much did you know about your character backstory versus how much are you letting Dave do? Like, did you decide like, hey, Dave, no, this is how everything's gonna go, or did you kind of like, where did you leave it open? And I can start and I can explain for my character. I kind of like to do it almost like a Mad Lib, so that the DM can fit me into the world that they have a vision for. So, you know, you'll do something like, my character lives with a cartographer and she doesn't know who her real parents are. And, like, I don't know who Xanthi's real parents are. I don't know if it's Lulu. I don't know if it's like who it is. I've left that up to Dave. Where did I come from? And even I am a changeling, but what are changelings in his campaign? Like, what people are they? Are they derived from monsters? Is she a special creature that is only one of a kind? Are there a whole like village of changelings somewhere that she doesn't know about? I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I think it's super exciting.
it's great when players give you as a game master that kind of trust and sort of like material to play with, because it's hard when there's a rigid like backstory to try to work. I like to work with the players as best I can. So I like to think that we kind of co-create certain elements after you kind of lay the framework for, the kind of character. But ultimately, you're creating Xanthi every time we play, and then I just kind of fill in some of the context. So, yeah. What about the two of you? What about you, Shelley?
I'd say that I kind of operate along the lines of Nori knows what she knows, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she knows what is really going on. So there is room to alter the backstory to fit what's going on, what we want to have happen. The one thing that I don't know a lot about is, well, like I don't know anything about, honestly, is what's going on with her matron. I mean, that's something that I only Dave really knows about at this point. So anything can happen there. And with a matron, with a patron, things could get crazy. And
Yeah. Warlocks are great for that. Mm-hmm. That otherworldly connection to just a realm of chaos. So yeah, there's a lot to explore there for sure. And I think that's kind of the way that we've talked in our kind of planning for where we're going with the campaign, which we do regularly. We'll have like another session 0. We've had like 4 session 0s over the course of the campaign, but we're going to be looking at, exploring some of that stuff with Nori's backstory. Given the fact that she can't remember some stuff, which we'll ask some more. I have a question about that to save, so we'll save that. What about you, Andy? For Desmond?
With Des, I wrote most of the backstory, but Dave definitely added some parts and helped me kind of edit some parts. Yeah. Kind of helped me come up with like some cool other little features to kind of roll into it. Like, I know one Dave thought of was some of Dez's aliases. Like, does he have some aliases that he goes by? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'd started with the initial concept of, how does this character fit into that 10-year period after that big battle of Emerald Meadows?
Mm-hmm.
And what it would have been like to live around there at the time, and it probably wouldn't have been very nice. So that's kind of like what inspired it, I guess.
You had a lot of good stuff, and in my mind, Desmond is the character that grounds the group the most to the world in a way, because especially in this setting that we're playing in, which is in the Viscounty of Verbobank. But yeah, what you created for his backstory was super useful for a lot of the campaign ideas, just because he's from the area, and has been, not that Nori's not, because Nori actually fought in the Battle of Emerald Meadows. But I just feel like Desmond, there's something very like grounding. I don't know I can't think of a better word, but he kind of grounds the party in my mind to the setting.
Yeah, and we also kind of started out in the Hamlet area too. So well, we're still there.
I mean, we're not very far away.
We are pretty much. Yeah, we didn't get too far away. Yeah. Same general region.
Yep. Nice. All right. What's the next question?
Andy has the next question.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah. That's right. We're answering questions on Greyhawk. So if you got questions, ask away, chat.
Well, let's see. I guess it kind of touches off on the question. Well, yeah. When you created your character for this game, were you inspired by anything in particular? like fictional air horn, air horns. I was reading the comments. Fictional heroes. I'll just read anything in front of me. Apparently, fictional heroes, world
Like Ron
events,
Burgundy.
own parts of your personality. What do you think, Shelley? Why don't you go first? Did you draw inspiration from anything?
Well, when I go into a campaign that I think probably will last a while, I try not to make a character that's too terrible. Like, not terrible in terms of like,
I'm gonna make the biggest character that sucks.
Not the suck side.
No.
The suck side could be fun, but the side of just like someone you don't want to watch every week, someone you don't want to inhabit every week. I didn't want to be that character, so I tried to pick someone. She wasn't inspired by anyone in particular, but I just wanted to pick someone that I was going to enjoy being every week, and taking her through a story and kind of solving a mystery, which is what it's gonna, I think, end up being for her. But yeah, she didn't roll really good, so she kind of sucks too. In that sense. But I hope that she's not really
You mean like stats
difficult stat-wise, yeah. Hopefully she's not difficult to withstand, like, because she's so annoying sometimes. That's not the character I wanted to make at all. Because I knew, hopefully, she's not going to get murdered.
That's a great, that is a really important characteristic of good players, is not to create annoying characters. Because that's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be like a one-shot or something short, yeah, make an asshole, right? Because that's fun. But not it can be. It can be.
Ask
and
for
also
consent.
picking a voice you can do for a long time, because
don't do a gremlin.
Man, that was rough.
I'm trying to do gremlin's
do an
voice.
accent. Do an accent that you want to learn how to do.
Or are willing to do for 50 sessions of gaming or more. Yeah,
you're willing to have it sound terrible at first.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta work up to it.
Yes.
Inspired by something. I just really wanted to do a character that started off like happy, and then became like more knowledgeable about the world.
Happy as in naive?
Yeah. I think everything's great. Like, I'm gonna be a hero, and then
let's go on an adventure.
Right, like, and now am I a monster? I don't know.
There's a lot of people in the chat nodding their heads right now. Yes, Xanthi is a terrible monster.
Burns people alive.
She's a nice monster.
And also, I did get a little inspiration. I am a hardcore critter, so I did see like multiple changelings happening in that world, and so I did take a little bit of inspiration from 2 different changeling characters that Critical Role did, and I put my own spin on it to make a sweet, happy-go-lucky changeling who is worried that they're secretly a monster.
Yeah, especially after that recent conversation with Alrin. That's awesome. Well, you succeeded, Ashley. Xanthi is a cute, lovable character who is a goddamn monster. We got a couple of questions in the chat here from Greyhawk Mike. Question: what's the scariest monster or villain you faced so far? Andy.
Oh my God. Anthraxis.
Shelley.
For sure. We were one round from dying.
I was gonna say Anthraxis as well.
But we
died in the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did not want to fight that character. I didn't want to fight it at all. Like, pretty sure it was a giant, and it would have been a TPK.
It was terrifying.
Dave was like, if that thing got out of the tree, it would have killed you all.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole point of that ritual, having that as the mechanic, is if you guys failed to stop the ritual.
We were like less than a round. Like, we were at the end of a around.
clock
And
was going down,
if it
Yeah.
didn't happen when it happened, we would have all died.
Yeah, that's true. And just a little bit behind the GM screen for folks, you know, that, and this ties to a question that Cardman asked that we'll get to in a second. The mechanic of that encounter directly influenced the outcome that the Red Crows had in the Temple of Elemental Evil. So Cardman's question was, was there ever an intention to have the party head into the Temple of Elemental Evil? And the answer to that is, we talked about it and we decided that we did not want to do that because we didn't want to spend dozens of episodes dungeon delving. We wanted to do sort of broader exploration, and we didn't want to get sort of hamstrung by that, that sort of a game. And so how I dealt with that from the GM side of things was to say, okay, well, what are things that could happen outside of the temple that would influence the outcomes there? And so basically there's this, if you've seen any of the Beyond Saltmarsh games, you'll know that there's this adventuring group called the Red Crows who come in and swoop in and win the day. They get the loot, they get the girls, blah, blah, blah. They're the heroes. And it usually has something to do with the party set, kind of teeing it up for them. And so I went back to that group and pulled and we talked, and we foreshadowed that group long before that happened. We talked about the Red Crows a few times. And anyways, so then when it came time, what happened was Anthraxis was defeated at the last second. And that was and when you guys had that vision, as you came out of that realm and you had that vision of the doors slamming shut on Zugetmoy, that was because of what you did. And it helped for the Red Crows to win the day, basically. So that's sort of how we dealt with that. But yeah, we didn't want to do a full Temple of Elemental Evil dungeon delve for months and months and months. So
yeah, anyhow. I remember, and plus at the time we just finished the Moat House, which was
the Moat House was a significant dungeon crawl. I mean, we spent a couple of sessions in there, but I thought it was a good balance.
Yeah,
that's a good. I would use that again. The Moat House is awesome.
Yeah. I just remember you describing the temple as being like, imagine the Moat House, but times.
Oh yeah, way bigger.
Multiple times. And I was just like, well, okay. Maybe we'll.
Scottish Jeff is absolutely correct. TPKs never happen in my games. I never do TPKs. Right, Shell?
Not true. Not true at all.
Within recent memory.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. We did just have a TPK in our home Shadow Dark game the other night.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Where are we headed next?
It's me.
Ooh.
Shelly, pick one.
Do it. Yeah. Go for it, Shell.
Are we still doing that?
Yeah, we can.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just keep the order.
Yeah.
Did
Unless
you
you're
have a burning
unhappy.
question though? It looked like you had something you wanted.
Oh no! I was just trying to remember who had asked the last question.
Oh, it was chat question.
The chat, you guys, thank you so much. They're coming up with some awesome questions, by the way. Great questions from the chat.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about what is a favorite moment at the table so far for everybody.
Favorite moment.
I will go. Somewhat recently.
Top 3.
The Dwarven Holiday section.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
The Dwarven Holiday was a highlight for sure.
Quality.
For those that don't know context, Nori is pretty attracted to dwarves in our game. And we had been traveling with this riverboat crew on the way to Twilight Falls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we arrive and something happened where some cargo fell into the water, and the deckhands, who are both dwarves, stripped down.
Twin dwarves.
Completely
twin dwarves.
Naked.
Merle and Earl.
And dove into the water to rescue their cargo. But then I think like Lachlan started getting in on the
Yeah,
action.
at some point Lachlan took off his shirt too,
Yeah.
and we
and that's when
decided
Des was like,
it was how they celebrated.
"All the
flexed
Dwarven
on
dwarves are
holiday.
getting naked around here. Is it some kind of holiday I don't know about?" And that was the dwarven holiday.
Yeah. Nori has made a note to ask all dwarves about this holiday and or say that it is this holiday if they don't know that
The
it's this
special time
holiday.
Just
of
so
the year.
happens it's today,
Yeah.
so you better pop
When all
that
the
top
dwarves
off,
are
buddy.
naked.
You better
Drop
pop
it.
that.
That's how they celebrate.
You know,
Wow.
They got it
Great-
right here. It's
great
on every
question.
day on the calendar.
That's funny.
I think one of my favorite moments, which led to something less wonderful, was the miscommunications that occurred when we were infiltrating Gromlin's house, Des and I. And Gromlin came through, and Des was like, "I'm gonna hide quick," and I dove at him. And meanwhile, Xanthi and Lachlan are out in the backyard trying to communicate with us. It was a mess, and it was hilarious.
That was
and
pretty funny.
Miscommunication
It's
is
a
always
mess.
Yeah.
really funny to me.
the whole time Lachlan was like, "Don't let them see you." And then like at that very moment, Nori
The
was
minute
like,
he
jumping on that guy. Yeah.
no provocation, just like, let's get him.
Yeah.
And that's like shortly afterwards, I ended up cutting off his
Yeah.
wife's hands.
I thought we were gonna forget that ever happened.
That
We were
day
not
just
gonna
went
speak of that.
sideways.
I didn't do it.
Like
Des
we had a
did it. Des
plan,
did
and then something else happened.
Well, and it led to a
was-
massive blowout battle too, which was pretty
Yeah.
epic in the basement of that warehouse.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then we made our way to the warehouse.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
What about you, Dave? You didn't.
I
your
think
favorite?
my favorite moments were with Mona Blackwood, because I put a lot of effort into kind of thinking about how the curse might get lifted, and how, like, I love hags. I think they're probably my number one favorite monster in the monster manual, and there's just so much to work with, because there's so much flavor to them. And we had a hag that we didn't really get to explore too much in the Dreadwood Forest during the Beyond Saltmarsh game. We just barely scratched the surface, but and then when I ran the Curse of Strahd game, there's Morgantha, and I had some fun with her, but I never got to like fully get into it. So that was my favorite NPC to play so far, and that was you guys all. I feel like you guys were fairly surprised with some of the things that happened, and that's always fun to see looks of surprise on your players' faces. So that was fun. That was my favorite. Yeah, a lot of thought went into her.
squeezing out a few tears.
Yeah,
My character found out she was a changeling.
yeah. I mean, there were some big moments there for sure.
And like, it's just like, as a player, I should have known better. But like after the game, I was like, that really didn't go down the way I thought it would. You know, I was like, of course, because we just had an interaction with a hag.
Yeah,
And
you
she
guys made a deal with a
completely
hag.
fooled us.
Yeah, she got some.
So yeah,
some stuff.
Dave, I thought you played that really well, for sure.
That was fun.
Because it was like she helped us, but it was like a pretty heavy price. You know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Especially for Nori.
Yeah, she didn't really help me.
No,
And
Nori.
Xanthi, I mean,
yeah.
technically, we knew
Yeah,
that at some
Nori
point
probably
Xanthi
gave up
had
the
to be
most.
revealed, but she gave up the bracelet that
The
basically
protective bracelet.
kept her safe
Yeah. Yeah.
from hunters. Like that's what she gave up.
Well, and I'm sure you
to
picked up
help
on
Des.
Burns' comment when Burns saw you recently and said, "Oh, the bracelet's gone."
Mhm.
And you remember
'Cause
when
he
you
noticed it.
first met Burn, he took notice of the bracelet right away.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
It's a nice thing.
yeah,
It's expensive.
yeah. But it was a good moment because it revealed your true nature. It put a huge burden on Nori. It relieved some of the curse from Desmond, which was the point of it.
One of
But
them.
it also
Yeah, one of them.
introduced some additional juice for future encounters because he gave up the dagger curse, but there's something else going on with that dagger that's kind of personal. So anyways, anyhow, yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, Dave. Next question's
My
yours.
question? Okay. It looks like we've got some questions in the chat here. Scottish Jeff, do you think the party is ever going to go back to Twilight Falls? So he said, do you think that party's ever going to go back to the town where the warehouse and other buildings were on fire? So that's Twilight Falls, Jeff. Let me bring up the map here so you can sort of see. It's over kind of on the right side of the map. Do you guys plan to go back there, and why?
Carl, one word.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
We went briefly
Carl's
to talk
hot.
to Carl. We didn't actually go into town, but
Well, he's our eyes.
He's
and
your
ears
guy.
now, so,
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's got nice hair too, but he's our eyes and ears.
Des is setting up this like communication thing up and down the river. So
Look at this. Here's Carl.
hear from
I just
them, for sure.
put Carl this beefcake of a lumberjack, just a gorgeous man.
Oh man, look at those locks.
God, he's beautiful, isn't he?
Look at the what are these bones called? The clavicles?
Yeah, it doesn't
Collapse?
matter. Yeah, just so good.
It matters.
So good. So that's Carl, and so that's why, yes, we will be going back. He's not dwarven, but he's got a certain allure to him. What's up, Vamp? We miss you, buddy.
And there are a few lingering issues in Twilight Falls, and I don't know, would they be spoilers if I brought them up? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're all in the, they're all in the common knowledge of Heroes of Greyhawk.
Yeah, while fighting the mother, which was the giant fungal creature in the elven ruins in middle of the lake in Twilight Falls, all three of our characters encountered the spirit of an old elven king called the River King, and we all took a vow to help him basically drain the lake because the ruins were flooded and it was
to free the river.
Yeah, to free the river.
Yeah.
And in return, he gave us these amulets that I think they gave us.
bless.
Heroism.
It was
Heroism?
it was kind of like a heroism potion.
Yeah.
Juiced us up hardcore.
For that fight with the fungal reaper. Yeah.
They came in very handy in that fight against that creature.
So we took the bennies,
Yeah,
Yep.
so we took,
but
We have to go
those,
back and
sweet,
blow
sweet
that dam
bennies.
at some point.
but we have to kind of follow up on our end.
Follow-up
know
question.
Des is definitely thinking about it.
Follow-up question. Have you guys figured out how you're going to take care of that yet?
You gotta find a lot of dynamite.
Have some ideas.
Okay. All right. It's good to know that you have ideas. This is good.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Great questions. Thank you, Jeff, for that question. Let's see. Question for Dave. Is there a favorite NPC monster, BBEG, you wished was still alive in the campaign? I would say NPC. I kind of wish Brock was still alive. I'm not going to lie to you. I had plans for him. And so I was bummed when he was sacrificed to the lizard folk, because I feel like he could have been a very fun reoccurring thug that could have been sent packing without boots every time or something silly like that. But anyways, I mean, it's not that big of a deal because there's plenty of NPCs out there, but that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. All the rest of them deserve to die. Well, okay. Spuggy. Okay. Yeah. All right. I wasn't thinking of Spug. I was thinking of bad guys.
Yeah.
Spug Noir, I wish, yes, I would be an asshole if I said that I didn't wish he was still alive, because he's a beautiful, beautiful guy, a sweet, sweet man. And he was really coming into his own, like he was starting to like become a hero, and he thought he was part of the team. I mean, there was a lot going on there, but his death was impactful. And that's, I mean, that's a great thing for an NPC. If they're If an ally's death can be impactful to the party, then you've done the right thing with an NPC. So, in a sense, I don't regret it. All right, who's got the next question there, Ashley? Yeah, poor Spug.
Okay, I would be after you. All right, I'll do the question that Dave wrote for me. What was going through Xanthi's mind when Alrin began telling the story of his parents' death? At what point did she make the connection to the words of Mona Blackwood about your kind being hunted? Also, how might that change the way Xanthi interacts with her new companions, if at all? Oh my god, like if you didn't see that section where Alrin basically says that his parents were hunted and murdered by something that seemed like a changeling, Xanthi had this one-on-one campfire moment with Alrin where he told this story and she instantly got the message that this could have been a changeling, or at least he might think it was a changeling. And yeah, she is now very afraid he will find out she's a changeling and then he'll murder her.
Wow.
Like, I mean, he very well could have a vendetta against them. He could be like, he and his parents could be changeling sport hunters. Like changelings besides her could be violent killers.
Wait a minute, she's also a violent killer. We've established the fact that she has.
She's a killer, but she's kind of a friendly killer.
Okay, whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep at night.
Until she horrifically.
We just got done
murders
talking
people.
about Brock.
Yeah,
well, Brock.
Brock betrayed us. Let's be real.
Sounds like he deserved it, though. You know?
No,
he definitely deserved it, but
you guys took his boots.
His actions directly caused Norb's death.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
How? How do you mean?
Well, okay, so like we told him to leave, and then he let everybody know that we were there. Like they came back and sent them on us, and then things went downhill. We got beaten up a lot after that.
Yes. Yeah.
He deserves to die, it sounds like.
He was just one of those guys who was just doing his job. He was trying to make ends meet. He probably had mouths to feed at home. You got to find
5
coin
kids.
when you can. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy being, a commoner. Yeah, exactly. He's a blue collar worker. And here comes these Silver Spoon, Free City of Greyhawk, tourists to Hamlet looking for heroism and gold and fame. All right, let's go to the next question. Next topic.
I don't know if anybody else has a DM like this, but Dave loves to give us a hard time about killing bad guys.
That's true. If there's two things I love about being a DM, it's making my players feel like shit for killing a bunch of innocent goblins. Sorry, that's a different game.
I love it.
Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. Sorry. It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
All right, who's next, Ashley?
All right, next, Andy, you pick one.
All right. Let's see.
And we are taking questions from the chat too. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat and we will get to them. What do you got there, Andy?
All right, fine. All right, let's address the 900-pound gorilla in the room.
Whoa, this is serious.
Nori. Xanthi. Did you guys seriously try to create a group name without Des?
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Yes and no. Mostly no.
Imagine my shock when I listened to the one game that I have missed in like the last 2 years.
That's not true. We started that before the game before that. But apparently you didn't notice until we reused it several times in the game.
No, I heard it brought up, I know I had heard it before, but it wasn't in like the context of this is what our group name's going to be.
Listen, we can blame the dungeon master because in the recap specifically stated the golden shears, blah 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 blah.
That's true.
The name.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny the recap.
Mm-hmm.
I can bring it up and share it again. It definitely, check the tape. Look, here's the thing about names, guys. Yeah,
So
you can have a conversation in the game and, revise. It's fine. Team names can change. Especially when you become known villains, like your trajectory is taking you in.
We have to change her name for anonymity.
Yeah, Scottish Jeff. They went with the golden shears so far. That's kind of where they're leaning.
Honestly, the thought behind trying to push group names in general was, one, it had been almost 50 episodes by the time that we
It was actually the 50th episode. It was 50.
Silence is compliance. Okay, that's what Nori goes by.
I don't know if that's true. Especially when you have a sock stuffed in someone's mouth. Doesn't work that way.
The other rationale between picking a group name now was we only had 3 hardcore people in the group, like core people, not hardcore. And so it's easier to pick a name with 3 people. And I knew that there was several names that Andy and I liked, but other people in the group were like, no, we don't like this name. So we had to pass on them. But now I was like, okay, we got 3 people. And Shelly was like, sure. And then you were like, eh. And so it's like, it's done.
That's a yes.
It can always be changed. And I can't wait to hear Desmond's reaction as they begin telling people their new name. There's a question from Cardman 2467, which I believe is the Cardman that we all know and love. When you've experienced the pace of melee combat in 1st and 2nd edition, do you have any misgivings about the slug-paced melees in 5e? Now, that seems like a very opinionated question, Cardman. I don't disagree with you, however. I think I do have a sensitivity to the length of that it takes, or the time that it takes to do combats in 5th edition. I think it can get a little ridiculous sometimes. And I think it's up to, in my mind, it's a combination of the way the encounters are structured in the first place, and also the ability of the players to move things along with their characters in a relatively quick pace. So the more that they understand, and that's a lot of my slow leveling sort of approach to game mastering, is because I want the players to be really, really familiar with how their characters work. And that's just the way I've always done it. And it just kind of keeps carrying over even with expert players like this, where it's like, I just want people to play, know what they're doing and move it along. But yes, it also is, it's a big part is the GM and like, what's the encounter? How is it designed? Is it designed to be a slugfest? If it is, great, because those have a role to play too, because you do want your characters to be able to show off all their skills and do fun stuff. And you don't want to move things along too quickly if that's part of the encounter. But if it is a lower level encounter where it's more of a narrative encounter, then I think it's okay to make it move faster. So anyhow, yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. And I think a lot of people have critiques about 5e because you've got actions and bonus actions and multiple attacks, and you've got, reactions and all of this kind of stuff. So you just need to be aware of it. And I think when you're playing a home game, it doesn't matter as much, although people can get bored around the table if they're waiting a long time to get to their turn. So you really need to be cognizant of that. I think when you're playing online and you want to have people hanging out and watching and engaging with you, then you need to also be aware of it too, for their sake. So it's not just about what's the encounter construction for the players, but also for the stream, I think, in general. I don't know. What do you guys think?
We try to be really mindful about, like, think ahead. What are you going to do? Like, keep it up. Though some, like, character types can get really you
So,
know,
yeah, certain,
multiple actions and bonuses and
Yeah.
things, and it does kind of bog it down a little bit, but that's like the nature of that character to do that, because it's just how they work in game mechanics.
Yeah. And that's honestly, that's why I like lower level gameplay. I really do feel like lower level gameplay is more fun. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Good question.
I think Scottish Jeff had a good one earlier too.
He's got a cool one in here.
About
Have the players made
players.
any
Yeah.
character decisions that the players
Yeah, why
knew
don't we
would be
do that?
bad, but did it anyway because it's what the character would do? That was good.
Hmm.
We've already talked about
Yeah.
Grok.
Well, when the warehouse was burning down,
Mhm.
Well, Lachlan made the choice to kind of sacrifice himself, but then Xanthi made the choice to try to save Lachlan in the process. So I think that was like a pretty good example of that.
Right. Like I don't think sweet little Xanthi would have left her friend in a burning warehouse
Mhm.
if she didn't for sure know he was dead. And
Yeah,
and
and
so
like,
that's why she ran into that, knowing that Dave could have killed her at any moment.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like,
Nori did the same thing. I mean,
I-
didn't have
yeah.
the glory moment that you did.
Well, we
but I
rolled
was
some
also-
dice at the end because there was an explosion that was going to take place because of
Right.
the, I can't remember the full details of it, but there was something was
There's a countdown.
ticking down. Yeah. And there was going to be an
building was coming down,
explosion.
right?
Yeah,
it
it
was
was,
a countdown.
I
of,
do like layers to fall apart at the end of the battle.
Yes.
That is one thing
And,
I do like. Big fan.
But that was definitely one of those moments, I think, where Nori felt the same way. Like me as a player, I knew there was a clock ticking for sure. And to leave would have been smart as a player because then I would have lived, but Nori would have never left.
Right.
Just like Xanthi. If I wasn't sure, she wasn't sure that Lachlan was out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been for self-preservation of Nori or Xanthi, like just get the hell out. But
Mhm.
yeah.
But that would be player knowledge, because we knew there was a
Yeah.
clock ticking for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Another
Yep.
one related to that. So when Lachlan decided to leave, he, like, the player had decided to leave. So we knew that we had to let him go. Like, so we didn't try to argue too much about convincing him to stay. And I think Xanthi would have tried a lot harder and
Yeah, same.
would have, begged him to stay, but knowing what I knew as a player, I couldn't let her do that.
All right. Next question. Whose turn is it? I feel like it's my turn.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. This one's for Desmond. So Andy, it took Desmond like 10 years for him to return to Hamlet to like track down his family and all this stuff. Like, why do you think that he would have waited that long? I've always been kind of curious about that because we never talked about it, and like his backstory doesn't really talk about it.
It makes sense to me, but
yeah, fill us in. I'm very curious why he would have waited 10 years to go track down his brother and his parents.
Well, context was a big thing when I kind of came up with the idea for Dez's backstory, because, and this kind of gets into one of our other questions, like if we drew from any inspiration. I remember specifically, I was like, well, this character lived in this area of the battle. But as we all know, like a battle doesn't just happen, it's not like just like an isolated thing. It fucks up an entire area, and at the time, like, this was like pre-Israel Gaza, and it was like Ukraine was going off really hard at the time. And so I just had this idea that he was like a refugee and basically fleeing Hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had basically calculated that he was about 10 years old.
Yeah, so he was a child when that happened.
Yeah, and like I have a daughter who is 10 years old right now, and it's just like if she was, I don't know how far away Verbo is from Hamlet, but it's a ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty big ways, and it's a bigger city, and it's just like pre-cell phone, any kind of like long distance communication probably wouldn't be available for most people. And I think, possibly there would have been people trying to help out, but I think that probably would have petered off after a while. So yeah, I think survival probably took over, at first it was just like find yourself food, find yourself shelter, and then pretty soon that turned into a giant network or a gang of friends for Dez. So, and then I feel like at that point, like maybe when he was a teenager, that kind of probably took over.
Sure.
I think we do have him making attempts over the years. I'm sure they're kind of like isolated.
Right. Writing letters to his mother.
Yeah. Trying to send letters to Hamlet, but, without getting responses back, basically. So it's kind of like a, distance and like a lot of other factors. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
survival.
He was a kid. He was just like a kid when it happened, So
that makes sense. I mean, he got to a new place. He fell in with people who could help him. The dogs. Hobbs gang or whatever. They gave him a place.
Yeah, so it's like, he made this big network of friends, and they were kind of like a second family, I guess. Basically, helped him stay alive.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I think after a while, he kind of just figured they were dead.
Well, he figured right.
Trying was kind of selfish, probably. Selfish teenager.
But then he changed his mind and he wanted to go back and figure out what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he ran into Xanthi.
Yeah. Yep. Cynical street urchin meets the most naive new adventurer on the road. Yeah, and I think we set it up like they encountered each other on the road, and then she just started following Des around.
Yeah, like he's like a stray dog you can't get rid of.
Right. You feed her once.
Which I mean is true to form for Des, because you were rolling with the dogs back in Verbo.
Right.
Like that would have been, you take care of them because they might be useful to you.
Yeah, and that was kind of their thing, is that, it was a gang of street urchin kids that took care of each other. So if they came across a young, naive child, you pull them into the fold and
give them their first dagger.
Yeah, that's right.
Give them a job and some food, and, So I think, it was even in Dez's backstory that he actually raised a few young kids while he was with the dogs. We haven't gotten too much into the dogs yet.
Well, maybe if you guys ever go to Verbo City, you'll find out some interesting stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, next question. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, I've got a question. Dave, how do you create or get your NPC characters? Like, how do you, what inspires you, or do you get them from certain places, or?
Well, for this particular, so far in this campaign, a lot of, I would say easily 50%, probably more, if I'm being honest, of the NPCs are coming from the old module content that Gary Gygax wrote for Hamlet. Everybody from Dick Wrench to, Jeru Ashstaff, so there's a lot to work with. Each like Hamlet and Nuld have lists of NPCs. But you don't focus on all of them. Like there's a lot of NPCs that could have been focused on. So for me, it's more about like what makes sense that who are the players going to run into, where do you go? And then which, as written or with a few tweaks, what are the fun NPCs to play? Because I view the game master as just a player as well, has a little bit different role, obviously, but I like to ham it up and get into a character too. And so Spug was super fun to play. Like I really want, I did push Spug on you guys a little bit when you had to make that decision to go to Nulb after the Moat House. You could have taken Elmo, but Elmo he just wasn't as fun in my mind as Spug was. And Spug turned out to be a beloved companion. And he was, so I had great stuff to work with, but then you just kind of figure out like, what's going to be fun? Who do the players sort of like connect with, on a meta level, or like, you always, as a GM, you listen to your players talking after the session, in between sessions, like, the more times they mention Toblob, the more you're like, okay, how do I work Toblob back into this thing? So I would say this campaign has been more, the NPCs have been more provided in a sense to me versus like the last campaign. Most of those NPCs I made up because we weren't playing, after we got out of Salt Marsh anyways, we weren't really playing any published content for the most part. Like Dan Virius. I love Dan Virius. I will always love that character. He was fantastic. He's a great NPC.
Did you end up changing any of the NPCs from the book?
Oh yeah, all of them
substantially.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, not like gratuitously, but sometimes the book will be like, these guys are affiliated with this faction, and I'll be like, nah, that doesn't really fit what we're doing. So I'll change, I'll change stuff. But a lot of what was written is fine. It's just once you start to be like connect with like a Pearl, or a Dick Wrench, or or like Carson, then you sort of develop them more and you take them in your own direction. So, and I really do like Carson as well, and I love Hub, the Leech Collector. He's also fantastic because everybody thought he was super creepy. That was great. Yeah. But Mona Blackwood was she was a creation of mine from scratch, just because, like I said earlier, I really like hags. And I wanted to have a hag in that marsh. So, yeah.
Okay. Andy, pick one.
Oh my God.
Just so folks also remember, we do have, I'm going to put this in the chat here, we do have a giveaway tonight. Our sponsors at CZRPG are going to be, have given us this Sunakawa, which is something that's not even released yet. It's coming out this week on their Patreon. So I will put a link to their Patreon as well, but enter to win. ! Drawing. Dude, I got about 14 questions here if you're having trouble coming up with one. I got so many questions.
Go ahead.
Can I jump ahead in the order? Is that okay?
Yeah,
some of these we've covered in one way or another, and then some of them are just kind of short. Like, I don't know.
All right. So you guys have spent time in three main locations during this campaign so far. You've been in Hamlet, you've been in Nulb, and you've been in Twilight Falls. Each of them has changed dramatically upon your visits, right? And so I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think big picture is happening in this region as all of this stuff is taking place? And what do you think your role in it is?
Like you've seen the Armageddon stoppers.
Well, you saw Hamlet was attacked by gnolls.
Yeah.
Which popped off like this sort of reinforcement. It sent Burn to Verbo City to get reinforcements. They showed up. they occupied Nulb. That stuff you guys set in motion. Like you guys,
we kind of instigated the attack on Hamlet a little bit.
yeah, but and then that was like dominoes that started to fall. Like you didn't instigate it, but you played a role in it happening for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Twilight Falls, you guys totally upturned the apple cart on that place with the Gromlin situation.
We didn't burn it down. I have a feeling that if we had not even shown up, that elemental assassin would have showed up and killed Chiral and burned down the warehouse.
Yeah, Chiral would be dead for sure if you guys hadn't intervened. Yeah. But I guess, so the question is, what do you think is the big picture is happening? All these things are changing right now in this area of the Flyness. What do you think is going on? I'm just kind of curious if you have any theories.
Well, I mean, it seems like the Temple of Elemental Evil is something is reemerging, right? And so like all of these events are connected to that, like all the, bandits and the gnolls and things are like getting paid or incited to attack people, which then led to all the events like snowballing and then trying to bring Anthraxis out and the whatever demon they were trying to bring out in the Temple of Elemental Evil at the same time.
It's like maybe a repeat of a similar situation to 10 years ago. That's what I think might be happening. Like maybe we have to have another Emerald Meadows,
Well, I mean, it sounds like that was kind of happening, right?
It was happening, but
outside Nulb. And
did it finish? I mean, did everything get put back in its place? It doesn't seem like it.
Well, you do have the sense that the Zugatmoy who was trying to reemerge was locked back up.
Yeah. Like some things were shut down.
Thwarted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well.
Let me be more specific. Question? What do you guys think is going on? I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on like what's happening with the Badgers and Nulb and...
Well, I mean, wasn't that kind of in like our intro to the area, is that some of this evil activity had kind of started up again? And that was kind of one of the prompts we got, right?
Yeah, that's why we went to Hamlet in the first place. We're all kind of like beckoned there, like, hey, there's stuff going on. Come, be an adventurer. Like, kill yourself some bandits and some gnolls.
Right.
Like, up in Hamlet.
Yep, the little trifold pamphlets were like, go to Hamlet and become a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I guess, like, what is... I mean, I think he thinks, like, something like what happened 10 years ago happened again, basically. Like there's an uprising of this evil centered around the temple, and they have seemingly shut it down. But he knows that the Black Hand is up to something still, and
they're not eradicated.
Has plans.
We've still got factions, and in fact, we've talked that there are so many members of the Black Hand that we can't possibly snuff them out right now. So we're gonna have to get tougher and take down this organization with our
golden shears.
With your shears?
With our shears, cutting out evil.
Let me be more. Let me ask a more. Yeah, it is a genius name. Let me ask a more specific question. What do you think's happening on Star Day?
It's related to Xanthi, the Star Child.
Wait.
I mean, as a player, I think that they're gonna attack Nulb. As Xanthi, I think that the fisherman is gonna go on a date with that guy.
It could be some kind of...
And they're gonna hold hands down by the dock, and it's gonna be
there
so
romantic. There is love in the air, baby.
There's some kind of uprising that's planned, right? Because there was this undercurrent of people not being big fans of Burns Badgers and how they were running the town. Star Day is like a happy name for what is going to maybe be an uprising of some sort.
Well, Star Day is the day of the week. So
Yeah.
it's like Thursday. What's happening Thursday?
Well,
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
know,
that's a perfect
well-
cover name.
What was the response we got from the guy?
He's looking forward to Star Day.
He's looking forward.
And
And
he's
then
a
that-
big thuggy type.
That was Furcus,
Right.
I believe,
It
right?
seems
Yeah.
very nefarious. Yes.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
Carson isn't really like a revolutionary type in my mind.
What
He's
type
like
is
a
Carson, do
under
you
the
think?
radar information broker kind of guy.
Right. So I think that he wants to
That's true.
know when, like, the town is going to be, like,
I wonder what
invaded.
was in that note that he sent to Furcus.
I was so ready to
It
steam that
probably
thing
wasn't
open.
like a, hey, do you like me? Click, what was that
Check
thing?
yes
Remember that
or
thing where it
no.
was like,
Yeah.
do you guys remember that thing? What was that?
Yeah, the folded
Mhm.
paper.
Yeah, where you're like,
Yeah, you had to
Pick
open
yellow.
it and
Pick
yeah,
number
you're
one.
like, right.
Yeah.
And then there was a name. Yeah, anyways.
paper origami of the 90s.
All right, cool.
Stuff,
All right,
good
cool.
stuff.
We got a question from Baptized in Puss, one of the best handles in all of Twitchdom. This is for is Nori the guacamole bandit of the group? I don't even know what that
I don't
means.
know what that means.
It's funny, but I'm not sure what that means. Cheers from Tonka, Mini Tonka.
That'd be a great tattoo, by the way.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Guacamole Bandit
We'll just put it that way.
on Carl's
Most likely.
back.
Yeah.
Is that a euphemism? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Or
Let's just skip
I mean,
it.
how do you feel about guacamole?
Love it.
Guacamole's
me?
amazing.
I mean, it's very healthy, right?
Do you put it on toast ever?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's
There you go, avocado toast, baby.
good to eat.
Hey, I got a question for you. What other locations in the Flyness or this Greyhawk world would you like to explore, and why?
Oh man.
That big
Well-
deep lake up to the north.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there's some. I mean,
Yeah,
that,
let's
that
bring
was
up the
something we
map.
talked about at the beginning of the campaign, is that we wanted to eventually be able to kind of change environments a little bit. So yeah, it would be cool to get into some city stuff. I think that is kind of on the map. Either
Where
in
specifically?
Either in Verbo or Greyhawk. I know a lot of Xanthi's backstory items point towards Greyhawk City.
Oh, but don't worry. I have a feeling that Xanthi's background will come and find her no matter where she is.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think you're wrong
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
That's the lake, by the way.
There's so much. There's so much.
Yeah, I would like to get to Verbo. I would like to maybe someday deal with that dragon, but not until we're much higher level.
Costa Chlorinus?
Yeah. I mean, it does sound cool to have some dealings with a dragon, however way that goes.
Also, big
I
shout out to
really
Anna
want
B. Meyer
teleport.
for this freaking map. This map is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you
Sure.
so much for dedicating yourself to doing this. So awesome. What about you, Nori? Shelly, I should say. Are there any locations in this big world that you would like to see us explore?
I mean, I would not hate going home at some point.
To the Cron
Exploring
Hills?
The Cron Hills, specifically Tuvar,
Mm-hmm.
my hometown. Maybe see what's going on with the sword situation, because that's where the old dudes do the thing that I knew about on
Yeah.
a very superficial level.
The conclave, as it were.
The conclave.
Mm-hmm. Such a cool. I will say that little vision or whatever that was, that scene that we had with Nori, almost like taking on the persona of her. Was it her great grandmother, or her grandmother?
Her grandma. Yeah.
Her grandma. That was pretty sweet in that workshop. That was cool.
Seeing Orvis.
Mm-hmm. and whatever Orvin and whatever that shadowy creature was that was giving him sort of the what for, giving him instructions.
Certainly not her patron, which is what
no, I'm sure.
I mean, and that would have gone down in Tulvar. That would have gone down in the grove of trees down by Tulvar.
Yeah.
Probably. Again, this goes back to something earlier. Like, this is what Nori believes, you know, like in character creation, but that didn't necessarily mean that that's what happened. So there are some things to figure out and pull back the veil, as it were.
Let's peel back that onion a little bit, Shelley, because I got a question for you.
Okay.
Now, we already talked about Mona, the hag, and the profound impact that encounter with Mona had on Nori, including the loss of the memory that's related to her brother's death. How has this missing memory, do you think, shaped Nori's motivations and actions since that happened?
It's made it very unfocused, because she doesn't have that driving memory anymore. And also, the matron hasn't really talked to her so much lately either, like at all. Like some dead people have talked to her, but I mean, she's been very confused and unfocused. She's got this memory of what happened in the cemetery, where she relived her brother's death, but that's not a first-hand memory to her anymore. And so that's extremely confusing to her.
Well, that was also like, before the Mona Blackwood encounter, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was, but it wasn't confusing when it happened because she knew she was. She had the
context. Yeah.
Yeah. But now that memory is coming back, but the actual firsthand death is not there.
Damn, that's weird.
It's
weird to think about.
It's hard to play as a player.
Yeah.
But it is also for Nori really confusing, and she knows the answer is where Mona told her to go, and that's her driving focus right now, I guess, if there is a focus. Like I said, again, she's unfocused because she doesn't know what's going on, but to solve that mystery we have to go to where the hag told us to go. So it's this kind of a weird Swiss cheese scenario in Nori's head right now. It's not ideal.
Well, and that's why getting to that Emery Meadows battlefield is going to be so important for to unravel that piece for Nori.
It is. I mean, she's got the sword. She shouldn't have the brother's sword right now. The only way that she would have that, and this is her knowledge of how these things get passed from one person to the next, is that person dies. And she's got it, but she doesn't remember. She doesn't have the first-hand experience of his death.
Yeah, that's very confusing for Nori, I imagine.
Yeah.
And Shelley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mona Blackwood.
Yeah, Mona, what a bitch.
Thanks, Des.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Des.
Stacy.
Ooh, pass it right down.
Wow, the shit rolls downhill.
Right over.
Shit rolls downhill. All right. Look, we are due for a break. I don't know. Do we want to keep going? I mean, I've got a lot of questions left.
There's more questions. If
I'm down.
All right.
Yeah.
Chat, if you guys have questions, drop them in there. We're going to take a short break, and then we will come back and we'll do a little bit more. And then we'll call it a night. But you guys, thank you so much. Everybody's been hanging out with us. Great questions coming in from the chat. My God, you guys, thank you so much. There is actually baptized in pus. There's actually a lot of guacamole, and most of it's used in the Hamlet omelets. So just travel to Hamlet, and they're so delicious. Bacon and guac. It's good stuff. All right, we'll be right back, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate you all. And like I said, if you have more questions, just pop them into the chat. And don't forget that we are giving away some awesome loot tonight from CZRPG, ! drawing to get in on that action. We'll be right back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us for this very different kind of stream. This is a Heroes of Greyhawk Q&A. So if you got some cues for our A's, please let us know. Drop your A's in the chat. No, drop your cues in the chat. We'll show you our
We'll
A's.
be the A's.
Is that how it
We'll
goes?
give you some
What?
A's.
I don't
Yeah,
quite
we are
remember
gonna
how
show
this
you our
works.
A's.
not on stream, because we will get a TOS violation if that happens. Just to
Right.
be clear.
Not on stream.
Yeah.
You can bet your
so
A
Theater
on
of the
that.
mind.
you can bet your A on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where are we at with the questions, Ash? Do we have who's next in the lineup?
Oh man, I don't remember. Who wants to ask a question?
I've got questions galore. So I mean, I could
Okay.
ask
go,
another
Dave.
question.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. All right. This one is for Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley, what is it about the Changeling as a character choice that excited you the most when you were kind of coming up with the concept for Xanthi? And I have a follow-up, but let's start there.
I liked the idea that she could change how she looked, that she could do infiltration, that she could do like high charisma checks, but also that I could attempt to imitate that person, because she's supposed to just be able to sound like them. She's supposed to be a copy of them.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that people would be fooled, unless they knew that person, that she was a doppelganger or a, like, Revenge of the Body Snatchers kind of character.
Did you consider the fact before talking with me that there would be like not repercussions, but like consequences of that sort of a character in a world like this? Like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. I think I got a little bit of a taste for it. So, we were in a different campaign, and my character had madness rules that I never used. But one of the potential things was that you for a short period of time would think you were another character. Like, you just had to mimic somebody else in the party or an NPC, like, for a period of time. I don't remember how long it was, but I was like, that actually would be kind of neat. More so if you got to choose than it was forced upon you. But there's so much versatility in a changeling character. It has been a lot of fun with the imitating Gromlin, the trying to be Nori.
I mean, to me, the most epic example of that ability was when she imitated Gromlin's wife
100%.
outside the window. Like that was a badass. That was a badass move.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit, that was a good idea. That was one of those moments where I was like so proud of a player in my camp. I'm like, that is fucking cool. I never saw that coming, and it's amazing.
I remember
you need the
just
hostage to walk away? Well, I'll show you.
That was a really cool moment.
Yeah, I remember in that moment thinking, like, what is she doing? We're all gonna die. The guards are coming. Why is she going outside by herself?
As soon as she turned that chair,
and then you explained what you were doing, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was a cool moment.
That was a great moment.
I feel like there's a lot more of that to come, because I don't feel like she's fully, you guys have had some fun, like, goofing around with that ability, but I think there's some pretty substantial shit that could happen. I feel like it will really blossom in like an urban setting where there's more people potentially. I don't know. But anyways, I think there's a lot more of that to come, which I'm very excited about. So that was my question. I was curious about that. And then, so given that was sort of like what you were excited about with her, is being able to impersonate and take on those personas, has that perspective changed at all since you've breathed life into Xanthi and learned about the in-world consequences? You know, like, for example, when Mona was like, you're kind or hunted, you know, like, because I don't know if you were fully ready for that.
Oh, I was. Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, there's several different kinds of changelings. Like they've been reworked a couple of times, even in 5e. And there's a thread throughout a lot of them that changelings are, a race to be suspicious of because they are fantastic assassins, who can replace people, who can hunt people, who steal identities, so I got the vibe already that this was a group of people that are kind of afraid to be known, and people don't know that they exist here, and I can understand why the average Joe would be suspicious of somebody who could impersonate somebody completely if they wanted to.
Oh yeah. I mean, in this world, in my thought here, hey, thank you, Kegel Dark Sun. Great to see you. Thank you for your watch streak. There's not knowledge of these creatures beyond like a very few sort of learned sages or scholars of, certain things. And so imagine if the general populace was aware of the fact that there was a creature that could just impersonate anybody. Your wife, your husband, your parents, your children, your priest, that would be pure pandemonium. Like there would be a all out like campaign to rid the, and it would lead to like so many unnecessary atrocities. So yeah, I mean, there's some pretty interesting implications of bringing a character like that into a campaign. So I appreciate hearing a little bit about your insight into that.
Yeah. And to kind of follow up on that, somebody had asked about Illis Flickerfern. I believe that was the name.
Isilus
Flickerfern.
Yep.
And how she had this logo that I recognized from Lulu's cartography shop.
Yeah, on her
back
necklace,
home
the pendant on her necklace. She had the 8-pointed star.
And let's see, they asked, was it a coincidence they both featured that 8-pointed stars and more to it? It's not a coincidence. I'm sure that there is a tie-in between Flickerfern and Lulu. I don't know if they're part of the same, as Xanthi thinks, adventurers club. I think it's something else. There is an organization of some kind that Lulu is a part of, and so is apparently Flickerfern. However, I think it's kind of a secret organization. And if we asked her about it, she might not tell us, but that is a part of Xanthi's backstory that I do know just a teeny bit more about. There is some more hidden stuff to be found with the 8-pointed star and who is Lulu, really, that we have not touched on.
I hope we do at some point.
We do too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
As a player, I know what the 8-pointed star is, but Des doesn't know what it is. It is something we had, touched on a little bit in our previous campaign.
More than a little bit.
Yeah, more than a little bit.
More than a little bit. I would say it's a connecting thread between all of the stuff that's going on.
And we definitely have talked about it before, like before the campaign and everything.
Hey, I got a fun question.
Yeah.
For each of you, rapid fire. What item in your inventory are you most curious about? Because you guys have some weird shit in your inventory.
Oh boy,
that cursed doll.
The cursed doll.
All right. So we'll start with. So we're starting with Ashley. So the cursed doll. What's your theory?
I don't know if it's a Chucky doll. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what the curse is. I don't know if I touch it, I get cursed. I don't know if I'll be murdered by it. I don't know what it does, but it is terrifying and it's in my bag of holding.
All right, so we got Ashley says the doll. What about you, Shelly? What in your inventory do you have the most, curiosity about? And do you have a
I
theory?
travel real light. Let's just put that out there. But I used to have a rat tail. That is
That's
the thing
right, you
I'm most
traded
curious
it.
about. I
Yeah.
traded it. Yep.
Yeah.
I have a couple other random things I don't think are anything, but the rat tail really piqued my interest.
The
Nobody
rat tail
wanted it.
you traded to the guy at Thornhaven Outpost who was a miniature painter.
Yep. For
Secretly.
dry brushing.
Yeah,
For
for dry-
example.
Yeah.
I was trying to sell him on the health benefits of dry brushing your skin, but he went in a different direction, and that was fine because he's a painter.
Yeah,
of
he's
miniatures.
a mini painter.
Yeah. So that's the
What's
thing
your
I was-
theory on the rat tail?
I kind of feel like if this is dumb.
Where did you
If
get
you-
it? Where did it come from? Just so
I
people
got it
know.
from-
I mean, obviously I know, but
I think I got it from. Okay, so I didn't actually get it. It was given to me by somebody else that got it from the Mother Scrang, I think,
Mhm.
in Nulb.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't in there. I don't know how. I think I just showed some interest in it after you guys came out with it, and you guys took pity on my nature and gave it to me.
Don't remember.
I think it might have been Lachlan. It might have been Lachlan. It was definitely from Mother
Yeah, it was
Scrang.
in
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Nulb because you guys were in there asking about going into the. You were asking about cures for curses,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
ideas for. I think that's where we've.
She's the one that told you to Mona Blackwood. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
put us on to Mona Blackwood.
Yeah. All right. What about you,
So-
Desmond? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Shell. Did you have more?
No, I thought.
Do you have a
wanted to know
theory on what it
I thought
is?
It was gonna be. Yeah, I feel like it's something that you eat, and it makes you smaller. It's a one-time use.
Okay.
Mm.
Very interesting. And now some jerkin has got it.
He's just dry brushing with this thing.
Yeah. Painting his minis.
Yeah,
All
making
right.
some nice textures.
Nice. What about you, Desmond? Andy?
Right now, well, he was he recovered another magic blade off of some drow in a cave, and yeah, he was a little nervous about using it.
But
then,
Obsidian blade?
so he recovered a magic dagger and
Oh, yeah,
a
that's
long
right.
sword
That's right.
off of the
From the drow.
drow who were, going after that amulet that they were trying to go after.
Look, if you're a game master and your players are afraid to use the magic items that you have dropped into the game, you are doing things correctly. That's all I can say.
It's a +1 dagger. And yeah, Des, I went a few episodes for sure. Like, I shouldn't touch it. And then in the last fight, Des grabbed it and used it. So we'll see
and
what happens.
everything was fine, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
what's the
it was,
worst?
I just said in the flurry of the moment, he just reached for the nearest blade at the time.
And it was the +1
Everything's
blade.
fine and good
And it was the
until you
+1
wake up
dagger.
holding a dagger.
Yeah, that's true. Against the throat of your companion. We've got some
Yeah.
questions coming in from the chat here. Let's see. Scottish Jeff suggests that maybe the nasty tent that is as clean as it can get but still seems nasty could be a questionable item in the inventory. Shelly, do you care to comment?
It is as clean as it can get, and that is clean enough for me. Also, I have this necklace, so I will never receive hantavirus.
That's cool. The Perry apt
Very
Of
apt
health.
Of health.
of health.
Yeah.
But
But if I take it off, what's gonna happen?
You're screwed. Armin asks, Dave once mentioned that he and Andy are childhood friends. Any fun stories there? Andy, I'll toss that one to you.
Fun story. Oh my God. So
No,
many.
we never had any fun when we were kids.
No.
Nothing that we can talk about on stream, that's for sure.
Pictures.
Yeah, we do have pictures in the
Um,
Discord.
Fun fact, Dave and I first met in preschool.
Yeah.
So we have known each other for well over 40 years, probably.
Wow. I mean,
So was
is
that
that
like
true?
4 or 5
I
years
don't
old?
think that's true.
Yeah.
Like 20 years.
So we didn't go to the same middle school.
We didn't?
No, we didn't go to the same grade school.
No.
You went, yeah,
No. But we went to the same
middle school and high school.
that's right, damn it.
Yep. But we still hung out even when we didn't go to the same school.
We played hockey together, so we were on the same
So we have
hockey
mutual
team.
friends.
We played
Yes, there was
soccer
hockey, yep.
together. We ran around in the woods playing army guys, like
Yep.
with your older brother and some other dudes. That it was, we were all camoed up. We'd buy this army surplus stuff and we'd go play. Nowadays you go out and do that, you get shot.
Yeah,
Let's be
somebody
honest,
will
you
shoot
can't do
for
that
sure.
shit anymore.
Sneak around in your neighbor's yards.
Yeah,
It was a simpler time.
it
Yes,
was.
it was. This
Yeah.
was the late 80s.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Early.
Anyhow,
Yeah, mid to late
there's a
80s,
lot
yeah.
of stories there, Armin, that I'm sure, if you feed some drinks to us at GaryCon, we can
Oh yeah.
we'll
We'll all be there. All
Yeah,
4 of us.
all of us are going to be there, as well as Armin and a bunch of other folks. Scottish Jeff's going to be there. Zarathon and On is going to be there. It's going to be fun. All right, let's see here. Vamp Wickman's definitely going to be there. He's going to be working his tail off. Armin has a designated T-shirt for GaryCon, black with the text on the front saying, "So don't you touch it?" ?
So do you touch it?
Or "So do you touch it?" ? Affirmative.
Oh.
Affirmative. I will be touching it. Can we say that on stream? I mean, that's a promise.
It's always more interesting if you do, right?
Yeah. It's a deal. All right. So we have
In more
consent,
than one
folks.
context.
We have consent.
We've killed Shelly.
Yep. Shelly, you gonna make it? All right. I got a question. While the chat is coming up with their own questions, I've got something. All right. What's the most surprising thing that's happened to the party?
We lived.
Good answer.
We have survived on a couple of occasions.
I think the
Um,
spider crawling out of that guy was a surprise.
Lareth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
bastard.
that was pretty nasty. Okay. It's a good one.
Biggest surprise.
Spug dying. That was also a surprise.
Yeah, that was sad. That was no good.
Oh yeah. When Des heard the spirit of his deceased father in the cursed blade that he just gave to Mona Blackwood. That was a big
Ooh,
surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
You know, I heard
creepy
that
as
too.
hell. Yeah.
You know,
That was super
that was a
creepy.
big- that was a big surprise that I had not anticipated.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of surprises, I guess, because we don't really always know what's going to happen. But
It's a pretty good one though, that Mona blade. That blade is
that
gonna
was
I
definitely.
feel like that's gonna be something that Desmond
Yeah.
wants to follow up on at some point.
We'll see Mona again. I have a feeling.
Certainly will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be higher level to do anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe have something exciting to trade her for something. But
I
Or
think
just
Desmond wants to
murder
kill
her.
I think Desmond
Yeah.
wants to kill her, but I don't know. I'm not gonna put words.
Is straight up wants to kill Mona Blackwood.
Yeah, yeah, she's badass.
Like to the point, probably you'd have to talk him out of trying to find her again, most likely.
yeah, but
I-
he's also
I
not
don't even
like
wanna know
stupid
how
enough to get
high
himself
level-
Yeah,
killed.
he's also not like reckless.
Yeah.
Lachlan taught him a little bit about being too chaotic. I
Yeah.
guess is the right word.
If
Um,
Nori might not want to, it's going to depend on what she learns about the matron, though, because Mona told her some stuff that's going to send her in a direction. Obviously, she also did something else to her brain, but
Mhm.
we're not really sure if Nori's how she's gonna react to this knowledge, and maybe Mona will be a friend of hers in her mind.
Because Mona
Or-
told Nori,
She maybe told her some truths
such as
that my matron lied to me.
Mona was breaking it down.
Whoa.
I
I
mean,
might have to go back
it's gonna
and
depend.
listen to some of those.
Dude, that episode was
That was a good
one of my
for sure.
favorites for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lore
Fun stuff.
dropping
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah, a lot of lore was revealed about almost all of the characters.
All the characters pretty
backstories.
much.
And
Maybe not
Yeah,
Lachlan
just-
so
it just-
much, but the other three for sure.
yeah, but it just overall went down in a different way than I thought it would.
That episode changed the trajectory of my character.
Mm.
100%.
Sorry. Not sorry.
It's the best part.
I got a question for Desmond.
Oh,
This one's been a burning question.
burning question.
So, presumably, right, Desmond's gonna figure something out about his brother Jack because he's curious. He's been asking around.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, Andy, the player, have any theories on what Jack has been up to over the last 10 years?
I'm trying to. Well, we've gotten a little bit of tidbits. We heard that he might have fallen in with a crew, or might have been up to no good, kind of in the Nulb area. So, I guess there's a chance he could have fallen in with the Black Hand, or with a closely related boat crew, or just kind of been up to no good in the Nulb area. But I think, like, as a player, I'm trying to keep an open mind because I don't want to like assume something and then just be totally surprised. I
Sure.
guess, at the last
Yeah.
moment.
I was just curious if you had any like kind of theories that you were kind of mulling about. Because you like Desmond talked to Melba, right? Remember back when he had first gotten cursed and he went to the Church of St. Cuthbert in Hamlet with the hopes that if they buried this farmer's remains that the curse would be lifted. And of course that didn't work. But then he went back and he had this conversation because he had been mistaken for his father, Jonathan. Right. And then you told this Melba woman who allegedly potentially had a relationship with Jonathan of some kind.
I don't remember that part, but I'll have to re-listen.
Yeah. We didn't delve into that too much, but it was suggested.
Okay.
But she had mentioned that Jack had gotten involved with the ne'er-do-wells from Nulb, is what she said.
Yeah, so I guess it makes sense that it was most likely the Black Hand. That had occurred to me before. So yeah, I mean, I've also just kind of been wondering, like, what is Des gonna do once he finds his brother? Like, I don't think he's gonna really want to like take care of him so much as like just want.
Well,
to
he's
make
not
sure
that
he's in
much
a
younger
good
than
place.
Des. He's like maybe 5 years younger than Des at most.
Yeah.
So he's probably like 15-ish or somewhere between 15 and 18 years old. So he's, I mean, like we're talking about a fantasy world where people are fending for themselves, like at a young age, I would think, unless they're like royalty.
He's definitely of like the working age.
Yeah,
of
for
the
sure.
time, or
put them kids to work.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know. I've just been kind of hoping to kind of play it by ear. I haven't made too many assumptions. But yeah, when I think about it, I think it's probably most likely that he fell on the Black Hand. Yeah, in which case they would rub Des the wrong way even more than they already do.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, Des already wants to He already has plans for the
All right,
Black Hand.
let's hear it. Let's hear the plans. What are Desmond's plans?
Get out of the
Come
plate.
on, get it off your chest.
Get your
Where's-
diagram out.
Where's
Yep.
my...
Start
Yeah, where's the
drawing.
plate? Where is that plate?
You guys can't see it because it's off camera, but I have
Oops.
giant... There's a lot of strings with tacks and theories.
Andy had a paper plate at GuildCon with the whole thing mapped out.
Connecting
I
dots.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, I
and,
can
like,
only
No,
imagine what it looks like now.
I've since backed off of that plan, but Des, he wants to go after the Black Hand. He wants to pursue them. He knows they're a big, powerful entity, but he knows that, like, for example, he was able to seriously mess with them in Twilight Falls. And he now knows that they had a big part to play, at least logistically, in what was going on in the area. So yeah, he's going to try to most likely use that to his advantage to go after them some more.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that for now because
We'll see. We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see where it goes. I don't know.
he's going to get into some
They're
trouble.
about to-
That's
They're about to run into them again, too, potentially.
well, yeah. You guys in the last session, you guys got some intel from that creepy
Yes.
Nylara, that creepy woman in the cave. Gave you some
We'll
intel.
most likely find out more information about later on.
Nylara.
Yeah, we'll never see her
Oh,
again.
yeah, no. I'm sure we'll get back to Nulb and they'll be like, you let her go.
Dude, Chad Vamp Wickman played that brilliantly with like trying to. I don't say
Diffuse.
this. I don't like to say that Vamp did something brilliantly, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it because it's true. Like, sort of like schmoozing a little bit at that moment was really smart, and got you guys some intel on McKinty and you know what's next. So that was a good
20
move
didn't
for
hurt.
sure.
My
Wow.
instinct to shoot
Yeah, I
and
mean,
ask
the
questions
role-
later probably
the
wouldn't have
role-
worked out too well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true because you were going in for the kill shot, is what you were thinking, and
I
that
was.
and her Simon, her toy, her best toy, her favorite
That was a
toy,
surprise.
kind of blocked
I
you.
wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
Flesh construct.
Mhm.
yeah, that was a fun encounter. Ashley, do you have more questions on your end? I'm looking at the chat here. Do we have?
I've got,
oh, hey,
I've got
Ty.
like a. Sorry.
Go ahead, Ash.
Okay.
I'm just saying hi to
I've got a
people in the chat.
couple. So like, all right. So, what's the deal with Xanthi's flying snakes? So
Oh,
you've
yeah.
noticed like, so I got a new ability, and I have spirit guardians, and I'm doing this thing where they appear as these winged snakes before they melt into little fairy creatures, and I did that because Xanthi is like a divine changeling, a divine sorcerer. So she, like, her spirit guardians are supposed to appear as like a divine creature, but she's also got all this fae stuff. So the flying snakes are known for being shape changers. I was like, so yeah, so like I had them show up as a divine creature that shape changes into a fae creature.
That's cool. That's great flavor for that spell for sure. What is up with that? We got some questions in the chat. Scottish Jeff, do you think that they'll see the hag again that we faced off in the last session? We just talked about that. Yes. Everybody thinks that they will. That's Nylara, Shadowbane. It's possible.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll at least find out, more than likely, it was probably not a great idea to let her go. But I think at the time it was smart because I think we would have been in trouble if we tried to fight her.
I mean, she had your
Powerful.
riverboat captain.
Yes, that's true.
And we were kind of beat up by then too.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet they probably drove her out of the temple area, potentially. Like the people in Nulb might know who she is when we get
That's
back.
a good thought, because Byrne, I think, had told you that the denizens of the temple had been kind of scattered about the lands. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good insight.
She said she was going west, though, right?
Yeah. I think she might have
From
mentioned
somewhere
that.
she wouldn't say, which was probably
Probably the
She's
temple.
going to Hamlet to check out the omelets.
Yeah.
Right,
I
for
mean, who
vacation.
wouldn't? Yeah. Get some vacation
I had a
property.
question about like
Byrne Simon.
so when they raided the Temple of Elemental Evil, you gave us a little like blurb in passing that they had rescued someone from the temple who had been there for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Prince Thrommel.
And I was like, that person can't be okay.
Yeah. So
10 years?
Yeah.
Well, they'd been missing. They'd been missing for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So Prince Thrommel led the righteous host against the temple. Yeah, against the temple in 569, which was 10 years beforehand, where in the Battle of Emerald Meadows, where Nori fought alongside her brother, and where Desmond, your parents, fought as well, and where you were sent away. And so he disappeared. He was set to be betrothed to a princess of Valuna, which would have solidified this important alliance between Verbobonk and Valuna, and he disappeared.
I'm like, that dude has got to be like, you know, either replaced or a vampire or something now. Like, he can't be just like, oh gosh, thank you so much for rescuing me. I'm totally fine now.
Yeah. No, he got totally gollumed.
Right?
In that temple.
I mean, something's wearing him as a suit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Luna.
Right. He was rescued by the Red Crows. And the Red Crows are being rewarded handsomely for that, as Byrne had mentioned.
I don't want to
Yeah, I know.
They're a hero of Xanthis.
Let's see here. Scottish Jeff asks, Dave, how do you decide when the players level up? It's based on sort of some milestone accomplishment points in the game. So there was some substantial time where the party was just kind of floundering and they didn't level up for a long time. And then once they took care of some things with Chiral, there was a level up. And then once they took care of things with it's just milestones. So it's like, what are the big beats of the story? It has nothing to do with like calculating experience points. It's what is the
story
moment.
Point.
Yeah. What is the pulse in the story that makes the most sense from a narrative perspective? And then I always like to, if we can, to incorporate the leveling up process into the narrative of the story itself. So like learning new spells or like finding those new spells, for example, Desmond in Spug's book, right? Those cool. Pages were not even there before, but then suddenly those pages were in Spug's book that he had given you or that you had taken. When there's a significant level up for the characters, usually 5th level is a great one. 7th level is a great one. Try to make it more consequential. We usually try to do some sort of like narrative explanation, maybe some roles, maybe some NPC encounters it's like a montage, like do a little montage to have some fun with it rather than just be like, all right, you wake up the next morning and you're 6th level. Congratulations.
We definitely like to
that just doesn't
the new powers a little bit more.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right to me from a gameplay perspective. So, but that doesn't really answer your question. The real answer is like, when does it make sense for the narrative?
Yeah.
So
milestones for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a judgment call for sure.
But what was that big gap though? Is like between 2nd and 3rd level? Is that what it was?
I think it was 4th and 5th, or no, 3rd and 4th, and then you guys leveled to 5th pretty quick after 4th. Yeah.
It happens when Dave feels like we deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
I do definitely give that to you though,
sure.
Dave. There was like a kind of like this period where we were like floundering and we didn't know what to do. And there were a few episodes where, we accomplished like small things, but they weren't like major story points that kind of kept us moving. So,
yeah, and there was a comment in the in the chat earlier. I think it was Armin who said, you know, like there's other things besides leveling up that are just as important. Like, yes, leveling up is great, but learning some lore about a place or like getting some inside knowledge that's going to help you in your quest, or finding some things, you know, that will help you, like magic items and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think focusing too much on leveling up, especially in 5e, can be problematic just because characters get out of hand once you get over like 7th level. You know, like 7th to 12th level is like, you're like dealing with some super heroes.
Superpowers.
Yeah. And then beyond that, it's like it's just kind of crazy. What's up, Hawkeye? Good to see you.
It's like we're never gonna make it past 11.
Like leveling up as a player is fun. Like I like it.
We got, what did we get to in Beyond Saltmarsh? Did we get to 10th?
I think it was 10th.
10th
I
level?
started
To
at
10th.
9th, and I think we leveled once.
Yeah.
I think we had plans to go to 12, but we ended up kind of changing our schedule.
Yeah, we kind of cut it short a little bit on that one because people had stuff that they had to kind of jump out for, life stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I thought there was still life and death moments at 10th level.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, for sure there are. Absolutely. But I think low level is a little bit, for me as a GM, it's a little bit more fun. And it's not as like, I don't have to like get out a Rubik's cube of like figuring out how to make a challenge happen for you guys. Like I can still, you know, fairly easily come up with a challenge and then kind of put some meat to it to make it interesting without having to like do mental backflips, which I'm willing to do because I love you guys. I will do backflips all day long. I can't do a backflip. I'm just kidding. All right. Any other questions that we have? I feel like we're getting close to wrapping this thing up. This has been really fun, by the way, you guys. Thank you, players. And also thanks to the chat for offering up a lot of great questions.
A ton.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
a ton of
good.
questions. We'll take a couple more if you've got them. Throw them in the chat. Ashley, do we have any more in the list that we have?
There's a few, but like we've answered most of them. Like remaining, what is your character? Or sorry, does your character trust the wizard Burn?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, what do you guys think of Burn?
Character only just met Burn.
So
I
We just
suppose
met.
Nori doesn't really know Burn from before.
this is your first impression of it.
Burn acted like
Yeah,
he
okay,
knew
so
me,
let's
but-
start with Nori. What's your first impression of Burn?
You know, I'm coming into this as Nori with some preconceived ideas that Burn was a pretty cool guy. So I believe my party, and I thought, you know, he seemed like a cool guy to me. He seemed like someone that all of the military here kind of like looked out for. He's to be respected. He seemed like the leader, and as kind of a soldier type, I respect him. I don't have any mutinous thoughts about him.
Okay, that's solid. What about Desmond?
Oh, Desmond has some ideas.
Really?
To approach Burn with.
Such as?
I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, but he would really like to know how he can help Burn go after the Black Hand.
Okay.
Because I think he sees in him kind of like leverage, possibly, or an ally. As a person, I think Des doesn't really trust him that much. But because they don't really know him that well. But I think what it is like they both kind of want the same thing. And so I think Des is going to kind of probably try to take advantage of that.
All right. How about Xanthi?
All right, so what Xanthi thinks and what Ashley thinks are different things.
All right, so let's start with Xanthi, and then we'll ask Ashley what she thinks.
Thinks Byrne is this super cool adventurer who's living the dream. Like, he got famous and riches from being an adventurer. Like, a lot of people listen to him, and he's this big deal now. Like, so, like, she kind of like looks up to this kind of a person.
But also, she probably would have seen him as very stressed out, super like preoccupied. This last encounter, right? Because he was.
Oh yeah, he's stressed out for sure.
Yeah.
But Ashley thinks that he was a little creepy with the bracelet and other things when we were like in Hamlet. So there's something going on there, like where like he's got a couple of sus aspects to his personality. Like, you know, he got his gold from this dragon, but like he let part of his party die, and like there's some issue, like, is the dragon dead or not? And then like he left right before like headquarters blew up, so like that's kind of sus. So like, is he the like connected to the Black Hand and like letting people, you know, I mean, is he crooked? I don't
Stop
know.
looking at me, Shelly.
I wasn't.
All right, I feel like Shelly's staring into my soul
Shelley's
right now.
staring at
I
you.
was staring at Ashley.
All
This
right,
is how I
good.
look at you.
All right, good.
Okay, all right.
Interesting. Okay.
Couple
you
of different
go.
opinions
Yeah.
about the burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, I think the way Des sees it is that he's a powerful guy that has connections to the crown in Verbo, the crown.
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, he has lived in Verbo and knows that that's not necessarily a good thing to be in bed with the government, because I'm sure they get up to some shisty stuff as well. But I think in this circumstance, he wants to try to leverage that relationship a little bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Burn.
But yeah, he picked up on the creepy bracelet part too before.
I mean, the very first time you guys encountered him, it was like, this
Plus
guy
he's
is
got those nice
super
boots.
suspicious. Like right from the
Guys did
beginning.
not tell
He's
Lori
way
that.
too chill.
Remember when Des checked out his
Yeah.
boots?
Oh yeah, he's got great boots.
Says a lot about a guy.
His footwear is chef's kiss. Yeah.
I would have been a lot
not
more
not a
protective
speck of dirt on them.
if I knew he was
No.
being sus on you, Santi.
Well, Xanthi doesn't know that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Xanthi had no idea.
she has such like a
Very naive.
sweet outlook on anybody. Like, everybody's a potential friend. Like, and like people are good, like in general. And you know, she goes up to people, she immediately tells them her name. You know, she would shake their hands. Like, she's slowly learning to like not tell people who she's with, and like some people are bad, and maybe feel them out first, you know, just little learning things like that. Poor
Out,
sweet
not
girl.
up, Nori. That's all I'm saying. All right, look, I think we have accomplished a wonderful stream here with some great questions for each other. Some great questions from the chat. You guys, thank you so much for engaging with us. We weren't sure if this would be of interest to you guys or not, but we are pleasantly surprised and humbled by your engagement. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to give away some loot here. Let me bring up the screen here. We're going to give away a Sunakawa, which we know nothing about because it has not been released yet by our companion folks over
Whoa.
at CZRPG. It's brand new. It's coming out this week. So here's what Christian told me in the chat today when we were talking about it. Virtually nothing. He says it's a goddamn secret. Do with it what you will. And I was like, okay.
Whoa.
Secret loot.
No, I'm just kidding. He
No,
said
you
it's
want it.
yeah, he said no. He's
Sneak
like,
peeks.
here's some great stuff for you guys. It's about to release this week. there isn't even a teaser description, but I can tell you that we know what these guys do at CZRPG. They got locations, they got lore, they got stat blocks for monsters, they got maps like you wouldn't believe.
Tons of maps.
Tons of maps. Thank you. Yeah,
Tons
so
of
many
maps.
freaking maps. How many maps? Tons. Look it's a one shot in location for the world's greatest role playing game. What more do you need to know? Exclamation mark drawing to get in on the action. Kegel Dark Sun is in there, just doing kegels, waiting for us to reveal who the winner is. Is that a thing?
Nobody knows.
Isn't that an exercise? Okay, here we go. Yeah.
It is now.
So
We're all doing them right now, aren't we?
I've been doing them all night.
You can't see what happens from here to
Yeah,
That's
you don't
right.
know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know what kind of kegel
It's all a
work I do.
mystery.
It keeps you young
Actually.
and limber. Keeps you limber. All right, look, here we go. We're gonna give this away, okay? And then we're gonna bug out because it's 10, and we got some things to do. All right,
Okay, go.
exclamation mark drawing. Ashley, give us a 10. Give us the 5-second countdown. I remember how we do this. 5 seconds, please, Ashley. Is that what we're doing?
All right, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
God, Cardman 2467 has
So
won the
lucky.
giveaway. Cardman, are you here? Are you
ready for
still
tons
here?
of
Because
Ah,
yeah, tons. You got a one-shot location with so many
this guy
freaking
has
maps.
Right.
figured
We
out
know you
how to
don't have
manipulate
it
the matrix.
because it hasn't
Yeah,
been
there's-
released.
No.
Yeah, there's no way you have this because it is not out yet. But
It's a
we
friggin'
do
secret.
ask that you be in the chat to win. So if you're here, please let us know.
On the
Otherwise,
list?
we go and give it away to somebody
lurking?
else. I don't
I
know.
don't see him on the list.
All right, let's do another one.
Cardman.
Cardman,
He manipulates the matrix to the point where he doesn't even need to be around anymore.
that's right. That's
Loves the
okay.
game.
Yeah,
Badass.
it's beautiful.
From a distance.
It's so good. All right, 3, 2, 1. Baptized in
baptized.
pus.
Go baptize.
Baptized in pus. If you are in the chat still, God bless you for hanging out this long. And then also, you won. You've been baptized in pus.
And maps. Tons.
Pus and maps.
Maps.
Yeah.
Secret maps.
Are they in the
Heaps of
chat?
maps.
Are they still here? Andy, can you verify what's going on?
Oh, they might not be here anymore.
All right, we're gonna roll another one.
Let's keep moving.
We're just going down the list here.
Keep it on. Keep it on.
Kegel Dark
Eagle
Sun
Dark Sun.
has
Kegel.
won the giveaway. Kegel,
on.
you know what? You stuck around long enough to do a dozen or more Kegels. You deserve to win. There we go.
Ayo.
Hey, flexing
Hey.
for the win. I love
Nice.
it. Congratulations, Kegel. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You guys, if you like what we do here at Guild Superior, the Heroes of Greyhawk game, the variety of one-shots and short shots that we do. Last week, we had a new streamer, Erica Nerdy Yogi, on to run her very first streamed one shot. It was fantastic. Andy and I played in it. I had a blast. Andy, I hope you did too. I really enjoyed it. We do that kind of stuff all the time. If you like that kind of stuff, give us a follow. We appreciate the support. We turn around with our subscriptions, and we usually use that funding for custom artwork, subscriptions to various art sources, Hero Forge, etc., so that we can sort of increase the production value of what we've got going on here. So your support is much appreciated, and we try to throw it back to you as well with some of these giveaways from our sponsors. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Really do appreciate it. This was really fun. Ashley and Shelly and Andy, thank you guys for submitting questions and getting, kind of priming the pump. And thank you to all the folks in the chat for getting involved, throwing some really interesting and at times challenging questions our way.
Mhm.
We appreciate that. We like to be challenged. We like you.
Thanks
And
for
I'm just going
cueing
to leave it
our
at
A's.
that.
Yep.
You cued our A's, and our A's are feeling it.
Yeah.
So thank you
Yeah.
for that.
They really are.
Let's go
But you
around
don't
no, you don't know. Let's go around the virtual table here. Tell us, where we can find you. If you have anything going on that you want to plug, please do. Shelly, let's start with you, please.
Yeah, hey yo, dude. This is Shelly, also known as Flea Monkey. You can find me on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram at Hey It's Flea Monkey. Here every Tuesday, every Wednesday, I'm over at Tithalanos' channel doing a little Pathfinder 2E. And oh, yeah, always got to plug the Instagram, which is doing fun things. We are doing fun things there. You can go there for cool recaps on this game and also Fiendish Fridays. It's going to be a thing now.
Ooh.
Come check us out, talk about monsters with us, etc.
We need a
Nice.
link in the chat for our Instagram page. Do we have that?
We'll get there. There's a link on the page.
Just
Hold on,
dudes, go to
on the
Instagram and
Look us
There's
up
a-
here. I'm going to
a
put it. There
link.
we go.
Under our about.
Booyah.
Yeah,
there
you
it
go.
is. All right, Shelly, thank you so much. Thanks for reinvigorating our Instagram page. And, if you have an opportunity to follow Shelly's Instagram, please do, because she posts some awesome stuff. Let's jump over to Ashley.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley. You may know me as Minnesota Muse. I'm Minnesota Muse on our Discord. I'm Minnesota Muse on Blue Sky, and I'm Minnesota Muse 99 on Threads. So come and friend me. You can find me this Thursday for our Greyhawk side quest one shot called
haven't
The
heard about
Eye of Twilight.
Oh,
I'm really
shit.
interested to find out what happens in this game.
So, yeah, I am too, because
Do you
I
know
don't
where
know.
it takes place?
It takes place in Verbo, right?
You're damn right it does.
Yeah.
Does it have
Yeah.
something to do with our game?
It's happening at
It's
the
in the
same
world.
time. It's happening at the same time as your campaign.
Current.
That's why it's a Heroes of Greyhawk side quest.
Yeah.
Creating
looking
some
forward to
fun
it.
characters that, maybe
Yeah.
Dave will use later. I don't know.
Yeah. They could become NPCs. Who knows? Maybe it becomes a recurring side quest cast. We don't know. Shit can happen.
Anything
Maybe
can
they're
happen.
bounty hunters currently looking for Xanthi.
That's true. Yeah, that's quite
I'm like a
possible.
bounty hunter searching
Yeah.
for myself.
Myself.
Currently looking for Dez. He
How do you
probably
like
has a
that
few
kind of
guys after
torment?
him.
We're just gonna mess with
Gosh.
you as much as we can, Ashley, until we break you. Thanks for being here. And with that, let's jump over to Andy G3D.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Andy, also known as Andy G3D here on Twitch. Sometimes on Twitter, but most likely not on there.
The Twit.
Best way to get a hold of me is to come over to our Discord. Come hang out. I'm
Smart.
usually on there every day, posting weird gifs and having a good old time.
Yeah, we do have fun over there. We have a good
Yeah,
group
but
of
you
people
can
over
find
there.
me here every Tuesday night, playing Dez, dodging curses.
We'll get
Like-
you a new curse.
Yeah,
Oh, there's plenty of
Yeah.
curses out there. There's plenty
Kinda
out
like-
there.
it's kind of like a big hole left behind those two curses. It's like
We'll fill it up.
Yeah,
All right,
what are you
I
doing
hear-
with
I
life
hear
now?
you.
I don't-
Look, I
no,
hear
no,
you.
no more curses.
I hear
I don't
you,
like
and I
curses.
will
Just leave in
deliver
this curse.
Just
Something
great
different.
magic items.
a nice curse shell. Come on.
A variety, spice of life.
Like a quirky
Shelly
curse.
forgot
How about
who
a quirky
her
curse?
game master
Quirky
is for this
curse.
game.
Yeah.
The old QC up in here.
Here we go. She's always be Brandon is Shelly's.
Gotta
All
be
right,
That could be
look,
your thing. It's
Andy,
like-
thank you so much. And look, if Armin and others, if you want the nitty gritty on our the shenanigans that Andy and I used to get into, then join us at GaryCon at the bar. Buy us a round of
Yeah.
Malort, and we will tell you everything
I've
you
never
want.
had
Scottish
Malort.
Jeff,
I don't know
dude,
what that is.
get ready
You
and
could
watch
give me a
out,
Malort, and I'd be
dude. Get ready and watch out.
telling you all sorts of stories.
It will change. It's kind of like an encounter with Mona Blackwood. It will change your life.
Maybe not for the better.
Well, I mean, it's all in the eye of the beholders. Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Dave. You guys know me. I play games, run games, produce games, and generally try to bring folks together around gaming here at Guild Superior. We've got some fun stuff coming up, including our one shot this Thursday that Ashley mentioned with Jose, Ashley, Korg the Mighty, myself, and who am I forgetting? Armin. How could I forget Armin? We're going to be doing a one shot in Verbo City. We've got our good friend Shiv coming in later this winter to do a short shot arc with some fun stuff in the Whisperwood. We've got more Walking Dead coming. We've got some more Morkborg coming. We've got some Vast Grim coming. There's a lot going on. Ashley's going to be running a game starting in March, which is going to be fantastic. I'm
what?
so excited for that.
Oh my God, Ashley.
Yep,
I'm
Ashley.
doing some planning.
Yeah, it's happening. The ball is
it's
rolling.
happening.
The dates are set. Things are happening. You guys are all going to want to all check that out.
It's mini campaign.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. We appreciate your support, and we just love seeing you guys in the chat and hanging out with us. So thank you all for doing that. We're gonna raid into our friends at the Hero Club here. Give them some good old fashioned Guild Superior love. You know us, we like to give people as much love as we can, right, Shelly? Spread the love-ish type stuff. If you like what we're doing, butter. Give us a follow. We're going to spread the butter and the Greyhawk gravy into this next stream. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks. I did not know how this would go, but you guys, I had a blast. Thank you so much. These questions were awesome. Thanks to the chat for the questions. We're going to rate our friends here. Thank you guys. How many times have I said thank you? We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.